But my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest, I'm gonna launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5, I'm rocking, and they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, so stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.
It's odd, but in the infrequent occasions when I've been called upon in a formal place to play the bongo drums, the introducer never seems to find it necessary to mention that I also do theoretical physics. I believe that's probably that we respect the arts more than the sciences.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce the messenger lecturer, Professor Richard P. Feynman of the California Institute of Technology. Professor Feynman is a distinguished theoretical physicist, and he's done much to bring order out of the confusion which has marked much of the spectacular development in physics during the post-war period. Among his honors and awards, I will mention only the Albert Einstein Award in 1954. This is an award which is made every third year and which includes a gold medal and a substantial sum of money. Professor Feynman did his undergraduate work at MIT and his graduate work at Princeton. He worked on the Manhattan Project at Princeton and later at Los Alamos. He was appointed an assistant professor here at Cornell in 1944, although he did not assume residence until the end of the war. I thought it might be interesting to see
The artists of the Renaissance said that man's main concern should be for man. And yet, there are some other things of interest in the world. Even the artists appreciate sunsets and the ocean waves and the march of the stars across the heavens. And there is some reason then to talk of other things sometimes. As we look into these things, we get an aesthetic pleasure from them directly on observation. But there's also a rhythm and a pattern between the phenomena of nature, which isn't apparent to the eye, but only to the eye of analysis. And it's these rhythms and patterns which we call physical laws. What I want to talk about in this series of lectures is the general characteristics of these physical laws. That's even another level, if you will, of higher generality over the laws themselves. And it's really, what I'm talking about is nature as seen as a result of detailed analysis. But only the most overall general qualities of nature is what I mainly wish to speak about. Now, such a topic has a tendency to become too philosophical because it becomes so general that a person talks in such generalities that everybody can understand him, and it's considered to be some deep philosophy. However, I would like to be rather more special, and I would like to be understood in an honest way rather than in a vague way to some extent. And so, if you don't mind, I'm going to try to give, instead of only the generalities, in this first lecture, an example of physical law, so that you have at least one example of the things about which I am speaking generally. In this way, I can use this example again and again to give an instance to make a reality out of something which would otherwise be too abstract. Now, I've chosen for my special example of physical law to tell you about the theory of gravitation, or the phenomena of gravity. Why I chose gravity, I don't know. Whatever I chose, you would have asked the same question. Actually, it was one of the first great laws to be discovered, and it has an interesting history. You might say, yes, but then it's old hat. I would like to hear something about science, more modern science. More recent, perhaps, but not more modern. Modern science is exactly in the same tradition as the discoveries of the law of gravitation. It is only more recent discoveries that we would be talking about. And so I do not feel at all bad about telling you of the law of gravitation, because I am, in describing its history and the methods, the character of its discovery and its quality, talking about modern science, completely modern. This law has been called the greatest generalization achieved by the human mind. And you can get already from my introduction, I'm more interested not so much in the human mind as in the marvel of nature who can obey such an elegant and simple law as this law of gravitation. So our main concentration will not be on how clever we are to have found it all out, but on how clever she is to pay attention to it. Now, what is this law of gravitation that we're going to talk about? The law is that two bodies or bodies exert a force upon each other, which is inversely as the square of the distance between them and varies directly as the product of their masses. And mathematically, we can write that great law down in the formula, some kind of a constant times the product of the two masses divided by the square of the distance. Now, if I add the remark that a body reacts to a force by accelerating or by changing its velocity every second to an extent inversely as its mass. It reacts, changes velocity more if the mass is lower and so on, inversely as the mass. Then I have said everything about the law of gravitation that needs to be said. Everything else is a consequence, a mathematical consequence of those two things that I said. That's a remarkable enough phenomenon in itself that the next lecture will consider this in more detail. Now, I know you're not all here. I know some of you are, but you're not all mathematicians, and so you cannot all immediately see all of the consequences of these two remarks. And so what I would like to do in this lecture is to briefly tell you the story of the discovery, tell you what some of the consequences are, what the effect of this discovery had on the history of science, what kinds of mysteries such a law entails, something about the refinements made by Einstein, and possibly the relation to other laws of physics. The history of the thing, briefly, is this, that the ancients first observed the way the planets seemed to move about in the sky and concluded that they all went around, along with the Earth, went around the sun. This discovery was later made independently by Copernicus after they had forgotten that, people had forgotten that it had already been made. Now, the next question that came up to study was exactly how do they go around the sun? That is, exactly what kind of motion? Do they go with the sun at the center of a circle, or do they go in some other kind of a curve? How fast do they move, and so on? And this discovery took longer to make. The times after Copernicus were times in which there were great debates about whether the planets in fact went around the sun along with the Earth, or whether the Earth was at the center of the universe, and so on. And there were considerable arguments about this. When a man named Tycho Brahe got an idea of a way of answering the question, he thought that it might perhaps be a good idea to look very, very carefully and to record where the planets actually appear in the sky, and then the alternative theories might be distinguished from one another. This is the key of modern science and is the beginning of the true understanding of nature, this idea that to look at the thing, to record the details, and to hope that in the information thus obtained may lie a clue to one or another of a possible theoretical interpretation. So Tycho, who was a rich man and owned, I believe, an island near Copenhagen, outfitted his island with great brass circles and special observing positions, situation chairs that you could look through little holes, and recorded night after night the position of the planets. It's only through such hard work that we can find out anything. When all these data were collected, they came into the hands of Kepler, who then tried to analyze what kinds of motions the planets made around the sun. And he did this by a method of trial and error. At one stage he thought he had it. He figured out that they went around the sun in circles with the sun off center, and noticed that one planet, I think it was Mars, but I don't know, was 8 minutes of arc off, and he decided that this was too big for Tycho Brahe to have made an error, and that this was not the right answer. So because of the precision of experiments, he was able to proceed and to go on to another trial, and found, in fact, ultimately this. 3 things. First, that the planets went in ellipses around the sun with the sun at a focus. An ellipse is a curve all artists know about because it's a foreshortened circle, or children know about because somebody told them that if you take a string and tie it to 2 tacks and put a pencil in there, it'll make an ellipse. These 2 tacks are the foci, and if the sun is here, the shape of the orbit of a planet around the sun is one of these curves. The next question is, and going around the ellipse, how does it go? Does it go faster when it's near the sun, slower when it's further from the sun, and so on? We take away the other focus, we have the sun then and the planet going around. And Kepler found the answer to this too. He found this, that if you put the position of the planet down at 2 times separated by some definite time, let's say 3 weeks, and then at another place in the orbit, put the positions of the planets again separated by 3 weeks, and draw lines from the sun to the planet, technically called radius vectors. But anyway, lines from the sun to the planet, then the area that's enclosed in the orbit of the planet and the 2 lines that are separated by the planet's position 3 weeks apart is the same no matter what part of the orbit the thing is on. So that it has to go faster when it's closer in order to get the same area as it goes slower when it's further away, and in this precise manner. Some several years later, he found the 3rd rule, and that had not to do with the exactly motion of a single planet around the sun, but related the various planets to each other. And it said that the times that it took the planet to go all the way around was related to the size of the orbit, and that the times went as the square root of the cube of the size of the orbit, and for the size of the orbit, is the diameter all the way across the biggest distance on the ellipse. So he has these three laws, which are summarized by saying it's an ellipse, and that equal areas are swept in equal times, and that the time to go around varies as a 3/2 power of the size, the square root of the cube of the size. So there's three laws of Kepler, which is a very complete description of the motion of the planets around the sun. The next question was, what makes them go around? Well, how can we understand this in more detail? Or is there anything else to say? In the meantime, Galileo was investigating the laws of motion. Incidentally, at the time of Kepler, the problem of what drove the planets around the sun was answered by some people by saying that there were angels behind here beating their wings and pushing the planet along around orbit. As we'll see, that answer is not very far from the truth. The only difference is that the angels sit in a different direction and the wings go in a different direction. But the point that the angels sit in a different direction is the one that I must now come to. Galileo, in studying the laws of motion and doing a number of experiments to see how balls roll down inclined planes and pendulum swung and so on, discovered an idealization, a great principle called the principle of inertia, which is this: that if a thing has nothing acting on it, if an object has nothing acting on it and is going along at a certain velocity in a straight line, it will go at the same velocity at exactly the same straight line forever. Unbelievable though that may sound to anybody who has tried to make a ball roll forever, the idealization is correct, and that if there were no influences acting, such as the friction on the floor and so on, the thing would go at a uniform speed forever. The next point was made by Newton, who discussed the next question, which is, when it doesn't go in a straight line, then what? And he answered this way, that a force is needed to change the velocity in any manner. First, for instance, if you're pushing it in a direction that it moves, it will speed up. If you find that it changes direction, then the force must have been sideways. And that the force can be measured by the product of two effects. First, how much does the velocity change in a small interval of time? How fast is the velocity changing? How much is it accelerating in this direction, or how much is the velocity changing when it changes direction? That's called the acceleration. And when that's multiplied by a coefficient called the mass of an object, or its inertia coefficient, then that together is a force. One can measure for instance, if one has a stone on the end of a string and swings it in a circle over his head, then one can measure, when one finds one has to pull, the reason is that the speed of the velocity, the speed is not changing as it goes around the circle, but it's changing its direction, so there must be perpetually an in-pulling force, and this is proportional to the mass, so that if we were to take two different objects, first swing one, and then swing another one at the same speed around the head and measure the force in the second one, that second one, the new force is bigger than the other force in the proportion that the masses are different. This is a way of measuring the masses, by how hard it is to change the speed. Now, then Newton saw from this that, for instance, to take a simple example, if a planet is going in a circle around the sun, no force is needed to make it go sideways tangentially. If there were no force at all on it, it would have just keep coasting this way. But actually, the planet doesn't keep coasting this way, but finds itself later not out here where it would go if there were no force at all, but further down toward the sun. In other words, its velocity, its motion, has been deflected toward the sun. So what the angels have to do is to beat their wings in toward the sun all the time, that the motion to keep it going in a straight line has no known reason. The reason why things coast forever has never been found out. The law of inertia is no known origin. So the angels don't exist, but the continuation of the motion does. But in order to obtain the falling operation, we do need a force. So it became apparent that the origin of that the force was toward the sun. As a matter of fact, Newton was able to demonstrate that the statement that equal areas are swept in equal times was a direct consequence of the simple idea that all of the changes in velocity are directed exactly to the sun, even in the elliptical case. And maybe I'll have time next time to show you how that works in detail. So from this law, he would confirm the idea that the force is toward the sun. And from knowing how the periods of the different planets vary with the distance away from the sun, it's possible to determine how that force must weaken at different distances, and he was able to determine that the force must vary inversely as the square of the distance. Now, so far, he hasn't said anything. Yes, because he only said two things which Kepler said in a different language. One is exactly equivalent to the statement that the force is toward the sun, and the other is exactly equivalent to the statement that the law is inversely as the square of the distance. But people had seen in telescopes the Jupiter's satellites going around Jupiter, and it looked like a little solar system, so the satellites were attracted to Jupiter. And the moon is attracted to the Earth, and this goes around the Earth, is attracted the same way. So it looks like everything's attracted to everything else. And so the next statement was to generalize this and to say that every object attracts every other object. If so, the Earth must be pulling on the moon, just as the sun pulls on the planet. But it's known that the Earth pulls on things because you're all sitting tightly in your seats in spite of your desires to float out of the hall at this time. The pull for objects on the Earth was well known in the phenomenon of gravitation. And it was Newton's idea then that maybe the gravitation which held the moon in the orbit also applied, was the same gravitation that pulled the objects toward the Earth. Now, it is easy to figure out how far the moon falls in 1 second. Because if it went in a straight line, you know the size of the orbit, you know it takes a month to go around, and if you figure out how far it goes in 1 second, you can figure out how far the circle of the moon's orbit has fallen below the straight line that it would have been in if it didn't go the way it does go. And this distance is 1/20th of an inch. Now, the moon is 60 times as far away from the Earth's center than we are. We're 4,000 miles away from the center, and the moon is 240,000 miles away from the center. So if the law of inverse square is right, an object at the Earth's surface should fall in 1 second by 1/20th of an inch times 3,600, being the square of 60, because the force has been weakened by 60 times 60 for the inverse square law in getting out there to the moon. And if you multiply a 20th of an inch by 3,600, you get about 16 feet. And lo, it is known already from Galileo's measurements that things fell in 1 second on the Earth's surface by 16 feet. So this meant, you see, that he was on the right track. There was no going back now. Because a new fact that was completely independent previously, which is the period of the moon's orbit and its distance from the Earth, was connected to another fact, which is how long it takes something to fall in 1 second. So this was a dramatic test that everything's all right. Further, he had a lot of other predictions. He was able to calculate what the shape of the orbit should be if the law were the inverse square, and found indeed that it was an ellipse. So he got 3 for 2, as it were. In addition, a number of new phenomena had their obvious explanations. One was the tides. The tides were due to the pull of the moon on the Earth. This had sometimes been thought of before, with the difficulty that if there's the pull of the moon on the Earth being here, the water's being pulled up to the moon, then there would only be one tide a day where that bump of water is under the moon. But actually, you know, there are tides every 12 hours roughly, and that's 2 tides a day. But there was also another school of thought that had a different conclusion. Their theory was that it was the Earth that was pulled by the moon away from the water. So actually, Newton was the first one to realize what actually was going on, that the force of the moon on the Earth and on the water is the same at the same distance, and that the water here is closer to the moon and the water here is further from the moon than the Earth, than the rigid Earth, so that the water is pulled more toward the moon here, and here is less toward the moon than the Earth, so that it's a combination of those 2 pictures that makes a double tide. Actually, the Earth does the same trick as the moon. It goes around a circle really. I mean, the force of the moon on the Earth is balanced, but by what? By the fact that just like the moon goes in a circle to balance the Earth's force, the Earth is also going in a circle. Actually, the center of the circle is somewhere inside the Earth. It's also going in a circle to balance the moon. So the two of them go around a common center here. And if you wish, this water is thrown off by centrifugal force more than the Earth is, and this water is attracted more than the average of the Earth. At any rate, the tides were then explained, and the fact that there were 2 a day. A lot of other things became quite clear. Why the Earth is round, because everything gets pulled in. And why it isn't round, because it's spinning so that the outside gets thrown out a little bit and it balances. And why the sun and moon are round, and so on. Now, as the science developed and measurements were made ever more accurately, the tests of Newton's law became much more stringent. And the first careful tests involved the moons of Jupiter. By careful observations of the way they went around over a long period of time, one could be very careful to check that everything was according to Newton. And turned out not to be the case. The moons of Jupiter appeared to be first get sometimes to 8 minutes ahead of time and sometimes 8 minutes behind schedule, where schedule is the calculated values according to Newton's laws. It was noticed that they were ahead of schedule when they were close, when Jupiter was close to the Earth, and behind schedule when it was far away, a rather odd circumstance. And Mr. Römer, having confidence in the law of gravitation, came to an interesting conclusion, that it takes light some time to travel from the moons to the Earth, and that what we're looking at when we see the moons are not how they are now, but how they were the time ago that it took the light to get here. Now, when Jupiter's near us, it takes less time for the light to come, and when Jupiter's further, it takes longer time, so he had to correct the observations for the differences in time, and by the fact that they were this much too early or that much too late, was able to determine the velocity of light. This was the first demonstration that light was not an instantaneously propagating material. I bring this particular matter to your attention because it illustrates something. That when a law is right, it can be used to find another one. That by having confidence in this law, if something is the matter, it suggests perhaps some other phenomenon. And if we had not known the law of gravitation, we would have taken much longer to find the speed of light, because we would not have known what to expect of Jupiter's satellites. This process has developed into an avalanche of discoveries. Each new discovery permits the tools for much more discovery, and this is the beginning of that avalanche, which has gone on now for 400 years in a continuous process, and we're still avalanching along at high speed at this time.
All right, so I decided we're gonna go ahead and do the panel rather than much rather than keep going. I forgot. Actually, in this lecture, there is that break, and that was a good break. Let me go ahead and pull everything up real quick. My screen and all that good stuff. All right. Much better. All right, let me make sure I turn everything off so it's not presenting still. And there we go. All right, so like I said in the chat earlier, Barney actually showed me this that lecture, and I'm happy he did, because it was one of those things that it just made a lot of things clear. And that's why I kind of went on this whole, it's a force to me, because the way he explains it, you really see how far it can go, and that's completely reasonable to continue to use it. And I honestly just wish Riley would realize that, because his argument he's not even basing his argument on what's actually going on. And that's the bad part. Riley makes it seem as if I am denying general relativity, when in reality, I'm letting him know, no, buddy. Not only do I believe in general relativity, but yeah, it's they don't see it as a force. I understand that, but my understanding of it can only go so far, guys. And that's called honest. Called being honest with what's going on. If I was I don't want to say that because I want to have the opportunity for you guys to hear the question that I have. It's honestly it's for Riley. But I mean, what am I gonna do? Uh, it's a good question, and even if you heard it, on the down low, uh, he's still gonna have to apologize at some point, So let me get. What I'm doing right now is I want to get the link to that lecture I was just playing right there. If you guys wanted to play on or play at your leisure, you had it. There you go. Okay, let me go ahead and close a couple of these. I wanted to talk about. You ready for this? The forbidden word. Dun dun dun. NASA. One of the things I want to talk about is what they're doing. I was going through some of these news articles and press releases that they put out. Excuse me. And I came across something that didn't make sense to me. So I figured, like, F it. Why don't we'll figure this out. I did ask a couple people, and they've given me pretty much the same answer. So I'm pretty much on the good idea of exactly what the answer is. What's up? Thank you. Earth is seriously flat. The world of D-Day, globe diarrhea, or abortion. I see, dude. If you're gonna do that, you have to come on. Make sure you're coming on the panel because I can't read those, man. But I do appreciate that. Okay, so good. We'll get that link out there to you guys. It's not the link. Gotta turn the bot on to that. I don't know if actually it crashed. See if the bot that link will work. Otherwise, I gotta give you guys the regular. Just see if you can get in with the bot. Just so I know. I don't even know if it's really gonna work. I don't know if I change the Hangout or not. I have like a bunch of Hangouts, and I don't know if it's I don't know which one is which. Make sure that should be good. We'll see. It just came in on the regular link. Damn it, Crash. Can you guys hear me?
What? Why am I getting cussed at already?
I don't know. Gotta cuss at somebody. I'm trying to talk real quick. I want to check your volume. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Don't get all mad. Damn. How you guys doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good. What's up, Big Blue? How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing good, Sean. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I had remembered I had that lecture, and I wanted to air it, but like I couldn't. I don't know what the hell came over me, but I ended up remembering to air it today, and I did. And anyone else that knows it, in the my description, and in the description of the link I put in the chat, it says it's allowed for reuse. So that means you're allowed to reuse this one because it's in my description, and anytime I don't care, but just know that lecture you're allowed to use that lecture. What's up, Earth? How you doing?
Fantastic, brother.
Do you remember what your super chat said? Because you're gonna have to read it because I'm not reading those anymore.
All right, so the word of the day, globe diarrhea, regurgitating assumptions.
Okay, that's the word. Okay, I was like, like, you gotta have
just the bottom. feel that well, we don't understand, and anybody can fall for any lie, right? Let's say we don't understand gravity, and we don't understand. I thought it was an acceleration,
It is.
9.6 seconds per per second square, right?
9.8 meters per second squared, roughly.
Isn't that an acceleration?
Okay, can I make an example, kind of real quick? Earth. Do you know how to fly a plane?
No, not really.
Okay,
I take
so
classes, but I'm not going solo.
but you'd be able to explain flying a plane like up to what? Like opening the door, sitting down, maybe starting it?
Right.
Okay.
Checking everything before the takeoff.
Yeah, but since you've never done it or went to school for it, it's going to take you a minute.
No, I taken a yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
Even
it's natural.
I'm not a pro.
Yeah.
You know,
but
I need
that's kind of how it is with the understanding of gravity. I can only say so much about gravity until I have no clue what the hell I'm talking about. So what do? I make sure I stay in what I know what I'm talking about, kind of, and that's as I force. That's like a really good way of saying it, right, Blue? Hi, channel. How you doing?
Evening, fellas.
I keep forgetting it's late for you guys. I'm sorry, Blue.
There's no reason to. Everybody seems to have gotten all excited about this concept that once in a while people refer to gravity as a force. You can think of it like a force. It is an acceleration. Yes, that is for sure. 9.81 meters per second at sea level. Okay, here's the deal. If you apply an acceleration to any mass, what do you then have?
Force.
A force. Thank you. So we tend to skip over, it's kind of like we skip that step in our mind and just go straight to force. That's what it's going to amount to at the end of the day anyway. So why not?
Yeah, but I was proposing the question of if you, let's say, sir, you look like a beautiful gorilla there. You're floating. You're a beautiful gorilla floating 0G, looking at the blue marble, right? Feel like you're just floating so romantically and beautifully out there, right? Are you free from gravity there at that moment?
A hell of a night, Earth. I rethink that one. It's a fucking gorilla, dude.
Are you free from gravity? No, you're not. Absolutely not.
You're not free from gravity, right?
Nope.
No. Then what formula are you under right there?
V squared divide R. V squared divide R.
MV squared over R is centripetal force. And you can make all those things match up and figure out what speed you got to be going at to be.
Because I'm also because what I understand in the gorilla floating out there and dropping, not still attached to gravity, and following also the trajectory the Earth is doing around 9 sunsets, right, in a day, something like that.
Yeah, well, they're one every 90 minutes, whatever that works out to. That is. Oh, okay. So you want to keep talking?
Well, my question is, so it will be into the perspective of the gorilla. I will see the sun going behind the Earth and reappearing from the other side of the Earth. You see all of that, right? Just standing solo there.
Yep.
How come we have never seen a time lapse like that?
We have. NASA shows us videos from the ISS all the time where we see the sun rise and set.
No, but the ISS is actually just 250 miles.
I think the sun rises and sets twice a day for the ISS.
Sun rises every 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Every 90 minutes? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I got something I can show.
Here I am thinking twice a day, like, la la la. You're like every 90 minutes. Holy shit.
Yeah, it does.
So now these people, they're probably the gorilla circadian rhythm is probably going out of whack, right? The circadian.
What?
The
The
circadian
rhythm is the rhythm of sleep for mammals.
It's
I
your
thought it was
circadian
like rhythm
clock.
at night.
If your internal clock is getting accelerated so many times, I would presume that these astronauts will give us a data what's going on with their internal organs. How could they adapt any lag?
They do, and it's not good. They do.
It's
It's
not
not, and they don't have very good reports. Trust me, they're not doing great.
How do you swallow when there's no gravity?
Excuse me.
Like when you eat food, like
How the gorilla.
how does the food stay in your stomach is a better question.
Well, your muscles in your esophagus and your.
You have muscles in your stomach. You just have fluid in there. How does all that fluid stay in your stomach when you're in zero gravity?
Same as when you sleep on your back, but the water that you've just drank doesn't go back to your throat. I think same way.
So all your acid in your stomach is like levitating inside your stomach?
You've never done a keg stand, have you?
Who, me? No, I don't do
I'm talking about Crow.
Do what?
A keg
Keg
stand.
stands rock.
You said
No, I don't know
You said like the same reason water doesn't come back up through it's more about the muscles in your lungs. I think your lungs won't let any of that kind of shit happen, right? Or am I wrong?
You can most definitely stand on your head and drink beer. I know, I've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it
my
can come back
question is
up.
about the fluid in your stomach, dude. It's fucking floating in 0G, right? So all your fluids are like levitating or some shit inside your body.
Yeah, your body's levitating too. So I don't know how all that works.
Well, I know they got to do.
It's like it'd be really easy to like mess up yourself, like just like turn the wrong way, and it's not just going to be a stiff neck,
Yeah.
What was it? I forget who I was talking to. I was talking to somebody that was talking about that, and I know they have to do certain exercises every day. And the question at the time that I remember hearing was, if we did like say terraform Mars or the moon, we'd have to get to a certain closeness to our own gravity to survive. If there's not enough, obviously our muscles would basically just deteriorate and make us all frail little paper weights and shit.
Right. Your body would start absorbing, right, the bones.
Yeah, and then the other reason would be to go to Mars. With people, I guess. What it would take to get there with any reasonable amount of time, I think the conversation was. And
does your heart have to work harder to pump your blood around?
I believe
because
so.
gravity's not helping to pull it in one direction all the time.
Probably because I know you have serious muscle issues when you don't have gravity. I know that's one of the biggest issues. How your muscles react.
But how come I asked this question to an astronaut that went to JPL? I asked him about if there are no pressure points, your heart must be operating under different circumstances. It's better be easier for the heart to pump all the blood without any, weight.
I think it would be harder because the blood would want to just sit in place. And gravity wouldn't be aiding it in going.
The problem is the blood goes to your head. Because in Earth's gravity, it pulls down, but when you have less gravity, the blood tends to, the heart pumps just like normal, but the blood all goes to your head instead. That's one of the biggest problems.
Good day, Paul.
But my question continues to the gorilla, the silverback gorilla floating.
His name is Blue.
Blue. Okay, blue gorilla. You are floating. And you say that you acknowledge the gravity is accelerating, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then at what time are you going to be traveling faster than light?
What?
Well, I travel faster than light quite often. Personally, I find it quite enjoyable.
I thought matter couldn't travel faster than light, or even
no,
at
it
the speed
can't.
of light, no matter how long it travels for.
It can, and it won't. I saw your comment in the chat, and you realize 9.8 meters per second only pertains to the Earth, and it only pertains at sea level. As you move away from the center of the Earth, that acceleration is going to decrease by the square of the distance. Okay.
Oh,
So you
so
don't have
like
to
when
get.
I jump out of a plane?
Mm-hmm. Gravity's a little less up there, but
I've done that
it's a
3
lot
times.
less if you're 500,000 miles away.
Yeah,
Hell of a
right.
lot less.
Nah, I haven't done that.
So we have
So
different
the
computations. So we're not. I mean, falling permanently. Then.
so the what I'm trying to say though is that the acceleration is not that much until you get in close proximity to a large gravitational body.
So
I think that seriously flat thinks that acceleration, the 9.8, is in the direction of movement when you are in orbit. That's why you say.
Oh
you
no,
reach
I
the
see.
center.
Okay,
close to the
yeah.
center.
No, it isn't. It's perpendicular to that. It's a centripetal force, not in
All
line
right.
with the velocity
I like
vector.
his question tonight, and I have to leave, guys. So thank you. Bye bye.
All right, have a good one. All right, so
You too.
Right.
one of the things I was going
Are you reading the chat? You should read some of the stuff in the chat and try to address a little bit of it.
That'd be a good idea because I suck at that.
It's pretty ridiculous.
If
Give
anyone,
me one of the ridiculous things they're talking about. Maybe I can answer that.
well, the main thing is that they
Multi
need to
Tom
tag
says
me
light
if
has
they
no
want to.
speed.
Oh, multi, he's a troll, dude. Have you ever heard of his debate?
Yeah.
He said light is instantaneous. What the hell's wrong with you?
No,
Multi said a
stupid
lot
is
of
instantaneous.
really
Light
crazy things.
light takes a little time, but stupid happens instantaneously.
Like,
It's weird how stupid works.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
I
the
heard
fastest thing in the universe.
I heard grown men like that talk shit on a regular basis get like all sympathetic to multi when he was debating them. We're like, dude, just relax. Come on, we'll try to help you. He's the only guy that gets like respect from those guys because they feel bad.
Well, we all try to help each other. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
This is
But
beautiful.
You never heard his debate, have you?
Well, Tom says that the sun is close, assholes. Well, yeah, it's closer than all the other stars.
Asshole. You're definitely right.
Well, I have an experiment coming in the next several days. It'll be out that to prove that the glove is not flat.
I have a vacuum right here. It's called a Hoover. What do you mean there's no vacuum?
Hubby, I mean, they're talking about gases, their pressure.
Hey,
right?
guys, don't you guys feel the Earth rotating? Because I do. I don't know.
I felt it
I
twice
think
today.
too.
maybe that you should go see a doctor about your inner ear Earth is, because maybe that's why you don't feel the Earth's rotation.
Excuse me.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
heard
problem
about
with what you said because we all do not have a good working inner ear. Some of us, Q, have vertigo. And guess what? I feel the Earth fucking rotation. Motherfuckers, it is rotating. I promise you.
Well, wasn't that what killed JFK Jr.?
Hey, Multi-Tom's got a question.
If that's what you want to call it.
He says, when it's 9 p.m. in Scotland and it's light outside, why is the sun rising in New Zealand at 8 a.m.?
What the hell did you just say, man?
When have you ever been in Scotland and New Zealand at 8 a.m. at the same time?
And it's actually light, like a lot of places, really late. That's the way it works. And it's just
The sun went down at like 8,
we should
almost
do,
9 o'clock today.
Yeah, the sun like just went down here about 35 minutes ago.
Oh wow! Well, it's coming down.
What's funny?
It's just one of those little mysteries of life, Tom. Go work on it.
Volleyball. I don't see them compensating for the Coriolis effect.
Okay, hey.
I don't either.
You
Why
have a
would they?
P900,
What
right?
are they playing volleyball? They're playing volleyball, dude.
Yeah, hey, you have a P900, or you should be like somewhere where we can see an observation right now.
Yeah.
Yes, next time I'll bring it out.
No, like just walk out to the ocean real quick.
30 miles from here. 30 miles from here, we could see. a beautiful stationary point at Catalina Island that is
Oh, show
only,
us.
according to
Hell yeah.
topographic maps, is only 37 feet high.
Yeah. Go to the ocean. Go to like the shoreline and show us.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
a
well,
live view.
appointment for that
That'd be
right now.
awesome.
Then 5 minutes, I have to take my bunny for happy hour.
You say a bunny? Well, ain't a fucking bunny, dude. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, to answer your question, Tom, the only reason that works is because the Earth is spherical.
If I can see 30 miles away, a target that is only 37 feet high,
Can you show us?
that doesn't work. The numbers do not match, man. If the glove numbers do not match, you must quit. Flat Earth wins.
Hold on. Why are
Okay,
you
well,
doing?
you got us in flat.
Dude, the night is called.
We
they
admit
went
defeat. You got us. You caught us. It's over.
Why
Fuck
are
it,
you
guys.
doing?
Let's just go home now. He beat us.
Yeah.
Hey,
I knew this was gonna
Earth.
happen at some point.
Well, good thing I was starting to make my channel about kittens.
Shit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's
Hey,
dangerous these days.
Earth. This morning you weren't doing creepy voice, and now you're doing creepy voice. How do you come in and out of creepy voice?
That was connection.
That's it is no, because in the morning I don't want to wake up the wife, man.
He was in a truck.
No, he was in his house this morning showing us all of his propaganda, but he wasn't doing creepy voice. It makes me think that maybe creepy voice is an act.
No. The
You know
creepy
Lemon
voice
Bird? No, wait. You know Lemon Bird, right? You guys know Lemon Bird?
Yeah, Lemon Bird has like creepy voice light.
Oh, no. You need to understand something. There are 3 parts of Lemon, and I love every one of them. So you guys get to hear the Micro Machine one, the one that says blah 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 blah. It's all high pitched, and he just tears through a whole like novel in like 10 seconds. Yeah, that's number 1. Number 2 is calm. Sounds very educated. It's kind of odd. There's no high pitch to it. And then there's one more, and this is my favorite one. There's Thug Lemon. I swear to you, Thug Lemon has a deeper voice than Blue. I shit you not. And I've heard it twice, and it was the best thing in the fucking world.
That's hilarious.
Yep. Yeah, it's an amazing thing when you hear it happen.
Why is Crash just in here on 3 different accounts?
Why are you what are you doing?
It's multiple crashes.
Are those socks?
I'm trying to. If Crash would talk, I could find out.
Or is it somebody trying to get in here to show us their naked butt again?
He's backing up traffic with all of his crashes.
Yo, Blue, thanks
thank you, but
Blue, thanks for mirroring my video. I got like 40 subs today.
Hey.
Tons of views. I couldn't even count them all. Hundreds.
Terrific.
Yeah, I watched it, Q. It was good.
Yep.
I'm glad.
Again.
You watched what, Paul?
Your videos.
Oh, thank you.
The blue reference, yeah.
I got lots of good ones. You can go ahead and check out my channel.
Hey, Tom, why don't you join the chat so you can explain all your
my
theories.
description too.
Hey, Q, can I get that picture of Kiwi?
Any questions?
Can I get Kiwi's head from you?
Yeah. Well, can I give it to you? Are we friends on Discord? I can never remember who I've already got on Discord and who I don't.
Hell, I don't know.
Do you do Discord?
Not really well. You can do my email for the channel, just bluemarblescience@gmail.com.
Do you have Discord?
Yeah, I do.
Well, why don't you just add me on Discord? Because that's how I like to do things.
Well, let me see if I can do that.
It should be easy. I'll give you my infos in this chat in here.
Discord just confuses the shit out of me.
Me too. How do you search somebody that if you know their YouTube name, how do you search them on Discord?
You got to go to the friends section, and then you got to go to add.
But then you have to know like that 4-digit number, right?
Yes, you have to know the number. And you also have to have in your settings, you have to set it to where you can receive invites and friends can accept you that way.
And
Because you automatically start on Discord with the default setting of nobody can friend request you. So you have to go under settings and make it the least amount of secure or whatever.
Yeah, I'm with Big Blue. It's just too goddamn complicated. That's a Pomeranian.
We'll put it this way: it'd be the easiest thing. Discord, streaming to Discord would probably be the best thing to do because there's so many things you can just do with that. That's the ultimate control. Problem is that it's not the easiest. Like like she was saying, she's gonna do some stuff, but it's not. Once you get it though, you'll be fine. Like it takes like 20-30 minutes, and then you start getting real comfortable.
Yeah, I need to watch a tutorial and like sit down with it.
Hannah's laughing at you guys for not liking Discord.
Who?
Hannah.
Oh well, I mean, it's like anything else. It's hard if you don't know it. Like it's just like math. Math is hard if you don't know math.
Well, the thing is, I know it. The problem I have with it is that it's like where all the younger trolls are, where the people who didn't know about YouTube flat Earth were. Because then you got this drove of people that just had no clue about the globe, and they were arguing with every flat Earth that they could because it was cool.
Well,
that's what I know. Discord.
Are we positive that Foydor is not a PMAR sock?
I don't know. That's why I haven't given him a wrench.
So he's telling me what PMARS is doing to me. I wouldn't even know if it weren't for that dude right now.
Huh?
I said he's always finds it necessary to come and tell me what PMARS is doing to me, and I said I wouldn't even know if it weren't for that dude right now.
Is PMAR still a thorn in your side?
Thorn in everyone's side.
He's more than a thorn, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
I was gonna say.
an infectious disease.
Oh man, I would love to like be walking down a dark street and run into him. I mean that in a non-violent way. I mean that I would witness to him about the New Testament. That's what I've meant just now.
No, I would do the same.
Well, maybe he'll make videos about you guys now instead of me.
Yeah, fuck him. There's one thing that he has definitely solidified. The whole he would never porn bomb somebody. He's completely destroyed any sanctity of thought that anyone thought that he didn't do it. I am 100% positive he's done it before.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, my friends with the bigger flat Earth channels, I've tried to get them to get.
Wait! I'm not the biggest. Is that what you're saying? Man? I'm not the biggest.
Well, it's not really. It's more about girth than length. But what I'm saying is,
what about both?
You know,
you gotta have great attributes. Not
well,
good.
You know, we spin after, so there's that.
Freaking sausage fest! What the hell?
Yeah, what I'm saying is
that's Pete's fault. In the mind of God.
I've been trying to get a flat earther to make a hit video on me, and I can't get one to. It's like I'm just I got to get more subs so that I can get a flat earther to make a video about me.
You haven't made it
because that's when you know you've arrived.
Yeah, you got to get under someone's skin. I think I just started getting under Riley's skin, but I still haven't made it. If I want to get under someone's skin, I made it my vendetta. It's gonna be Bro Sanchez. I'm gonna mic drop flat Earth with his ass.
Bro Sanchez.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I need more clips of that man having a fucking girl tantrum in the middle of a fucking live stream again. That was so awesome. That made me so happy watching that grown man jump in and out of a chair. Like, you think
is he the suck my balls guy?
No, you ask me that every time.
I get it mixed up.
No, he's
never said
he's
that.
the black consciousness flat earther.
He's a free energy flat earther.
Who's the suck my balls guy?
I don't know, dude. Whoever you hang out with. I don't stop asking me that.
No, there's the
that guy.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up.
That guy.
I'm gonna look it up.
You guys are scaring the shit out of me because I have no clue what the fuck you're talking about. All I know is you both know who the suck my ball guys is.
I don't know who he is. I just want to say that for the record.
So there's only one of me now, right?
Yeah. What the hell, man?
I don't know. My laptop went nuts and opened like 50 fucking screens, and yeah.
Stop getting porn and only open certain tabs at a time. Jeez, didn't Nathan? Who does that? Red Pill? Yeah, Red Pill doesn't get smarter. Neither will you.
Damn.
I got smarter.
Speaking of which,
My new intro proves that I got smarter.
It's Delano TV. That's who I was thinking of.
Dude, I don't.
Delano TV is the Earth is flat, suck my balls guy.
Yeah, and that's not a real flat earther.
Yeah, he's a
Oh, I'm
comedian
sure.
exploiting it. That's 100% exploiting
nobody could be like he's way over the top.
His jokes are 100% verbatim Flat Earth Society branded or fucking just bullshit.
Yeah,
he just makes some jokes.
Their voice sounds the same.
No, they don't. Not even close.
Well, just because I'm white, leave me alone. I mean,
she's racist, but
hey,
Q.
There you go.
Okay, I found the add a friend screen, Q.
Oh, cool.
Do I put a number in here or something?
Yeah, you got to put my name. I put it in the side chat of this Hangout so that you could just copy and paste it in.
Oh.
You know how to get to the side chat in the Hangout, right?
Yeah, I do know how to do that.
All right, it should be the only message in there.
You know how to turn your computer on and off, Blue?
I've done it twice already.
I've done it like once, and then it does it itself now for me. It just does it randomly. It's great.
You know, I spent the whole day in a stinky ass garage trying to catch little kittens.
What?
Yeah, I saw that video. You saved some kittens.
I got two of them now.
Is that the one you just downloaded or uploaded?
Yeah, I caught one of them earlier, and then when I went in there just a little while ago, I was able to get another one of them. If there was more than one of me, I would have already had them all at once. But it's really tough to catch 3 little kittens in a garage full of garbage.
Why are these your cats?
No, they're just strays. They were born in that garage.
Yeah, that sucks.
Like in your place they're doing this, or is this like one of the places you own? I'm so confused right now.
It's a neighboring property that isn't cared for. So like I've already complained to the city about it. So, you know, I also want to get the kittens out of there because eventually somebody's going to come and tear all that out.
Well, you just don't want 1,000 more cats in your damn neighborhood.
That's another thing. And the second one that I caught, oh my God, what a spitter this one is. I've never been frightened of a kitten before. This little fucker is so like wild up, and he spits so much. He unnerves me. I have to wear.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
I had to wear winter gloves, to touch it and get it, and then I bathed it with the gloves on my hands and then it finally calmed down and stopped biting me and stuff.
Yeah, you people need to understand hang on. You need to understand one thing. Cats, they'll eat your fucking faces, motherfuckers. Understand?
Oh yeah, cats will fuck you up.
And you don't
I've
have to die. If you go into a coma, your cat would eat your face if you were out long enough. Understand that they're assholes.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I've saved a lot of cats, and I've had a lot of cats, and I've saved a lot of cats and kept a lot of cats and found homes for a lot of cats. So I'm really used to cats. And this is the first time I've ever rescued kittens that were hissing at me instead of meowing and crying. And it's a weird experience for me.
Well, you were maybe the first human they had ever seen, too.
I think so, too. I'm the first human they've ever had touch them.
Yeah, I've seen wild ones before, and they are wild.
Well, see, there's another thing, too. Both of these kittens that I have so far, they have extra toes.
What the fuck?
They have really bizarre-shaped feet.
That's some incest right there.
That's
why you got to eradicate neighborhood cats.
You got flat earth kittens.
Yeah, that's why I'm working so hard to catch these cats and take them to the shelter to get them fixed. And just because I don't look, the first time I saw these kittens, their mother caught a squirrel and they were like literally ripping apart the carcass of the squirrel.
Fucking animal, that's nature.
Yeah, I can't let those grow up and have more babies.
But that's nature.
No, I can't let them grow up in this alley. Around this neighborhood, and then also make more babies. We can't let that happen.
You like rats or you like cats?
We don't have rats. We don't have rats.
Then you gotta get rid of those.
That's because you have cats.
You ain't gonna have many squirrels either.
No, the cats can come back. They can come back, but they have to be fixed first. That's what I do.
Yeah. I saw
because these are kittens, I am going to try to find homes for them because it'll be easier.
Are you gonna try to
Probably.
get
That
rid of
would be
the
better.
asshole cat?
What asshole cat?
The one that hisses. and
The
spits?
kitten I just saved?
Yes.
he can be tamed.
Well, it depends because if he stays like a feral cat, then the best I can do is get him fixed and then just put him back out, when he's old enough to fend for himself and shit.
People do that? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
What
Oh,
are you going
man.
to do?
Huh? Don't ask me.
What else
I
can you
hate
what else
cats.
can you do?
I hate
Well,
cats.
then
I've been attacked by
you
cats.
can
I hate
shoot
them.
him with BBs then, all
Oh
right?
no, fuck that. No, wait, cute. No. If
I just
hey,
want
I'm
everybody
gonna tell
to
you that.
know
I'm
that
gonna
if
tell
you
you right
shoot a
now.
cat with a BB, it most likely won't die. It'll just be
Yeah,
horribly
that's
injured.
fucked up. No, I'm gonna let you know now. Any death of an animal that I will be involved in will be instant. I'm a good shot, and I don't like that suffer shit.
Yeah, well, I just
Yeah.
don't. I'm worried about, diseases spreading to other animals. If we have like a whole, because it's just 3 kittens from one cat. Now, if they all
That's
go
not
and
bad.
get pregnant and they're feral and they're eating dead squirrels and they got rabies, it's just going to be like, it's going to be, what do you call it, epidemic or some shit, right?
Yeah, we've had issues on naval bases with feral cats because they multiply not like rabbits, but not at a significantly lower rate either.
Oh, you want to know what's the worst
Yeah,
part
see,
about
so this
cats?
is what's happening right now. This mother cat has these kittens, and they don't really have all their teeth yet, so I don't know how much their mother was still nursing them. But I think she's already pregnant again and going to
Oh
have
yeah,
another
that happened.
litter.
Yeah, when they have litter, they instantly. It's really quick. That's what I was gonna.
Right.
What's called? Damn, completely forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck.
Well, while you're thinking about that, I saw a study where so a lot of old ladies have tons of cats. They've
Oh,
done studies to where when they die in their
thank you,
house,
such cat. That was awesome of you.
uh,
Go ahead.
it's 2 more sentences.
Oh no, yeah,
A,
go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, cats. People that have cats that die in their house, your cat will almost instantly after you're dead start eating you.
See,
If you
told
have
you.
a dog, the dog will nearly starve to death before it
Yep.
will feed on you.
Dogs love people. Dogs are man's
Right.
best friend. Cats are assholes. Okay,
Cats are assholes.
So this is why I know some facts about cats. So there's this thing called it's like toxoplasma something or blah blah blah. But like pregnant chicks can get it really easy, and it could like harm the fetus. But like when guys get it, it makes them do like extreme sports and shit, like this crazy, stupid, like death-defying stuff. Pretty crazy.
It reduces your fear instinct.
Huh?
It reduces your fear instinct.
As an old woman who has
yeah.
one cat, I
I see.
resent all the previous comments.
You don't sound old.
I'm over 40.
So am I. But I'm not old. Well, yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
you
Never
are.
mind. I'm old. I'm going to die
So-
soon.
When I give you this picture, Blue, you realize it's only going to be his head because that's all I got left.
That's fine by me.
That seems so odd because I have no idea what the hell you're talking about.
I don't either, but apparently she
There you
decapitated
go.
something.
Oh,
Yeah,
that happens.
I
Yeah,
asked
yeah.
for quantum eraser's head. And
Oh,
I don't know what I did with the full picture when I cut his head out of it. I think I deleted. Maybe I saved it over that, so that's why I don't have it anymore. I only have the head.
yeah. The main reason I showed that lecture was, well, for one, it was a great fucking lecture, but I really wanted Riley to show up. I would love to hear Riley explain what Feynman was wrong about. I would just love to hear that.
I
He'd come up with some flirt bullshit about why Feynman's wrong.
I think he would run away
But
and not
here's the
address
thing.
it.
Here's the bigger thing. Debates in general. Because I agree. The other night, most of you probably know about what happened. Yeah, he won. That's because I suck ass at talking. I know I do. I don't fucking have everything in my head. If I didn't have my notes ready, it was like a spur of the moment thing. But isn't that the problem? Because
Yeah, that's why
yeah, it's obviously a thing of words and how someone uses those words, not facts. That's why I don't like debates. That's why I like discussions.
Yeah, I over prepare for my debates. I really do. I come loaded for bear. It's like I'm going into a military operation when I come to a debate.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm preparing for that. Like I want to debate Riley, but I want to do it
Yeah.
like with it like a week in time, so I have like I'm getting prepared now. So
Oh
it's gonna
yeah,
happen
yeah.
like
No, you have to. And what my advice was Soapy the other day that was asking me about debates, and I said, don't just understand the facts. Understand who you're debating. Go back and listen to their arguments. Listen to their history. Do the research on the person and not just the facts,
well the
because
thing is
that's where you're going to succeed.
well also the other thing was that it's like I know I know what I was saying was correct, but Riley was having because the evidence and the facts don't matter to him. He knows it's a word game, and he knew previously too that if all he's got to do is trigger me, and he went for the kill. I felt it. I even watched him do it too. It was pretty bad, but i- if you're saying that, and I guess you have to say this for the Globers or even shit Flatter too. If you're saying that he won with any kind of evidence or facts, I like to see where he did. And then I keep realizing that I used evidence and facts. The problem is I put myself in a situation where those things weren't being looked at. It was just about who says something right or says
Right.
something fluidly.
Yep. You got to
Fluently.
look for the booby traps because they're coming.
Well, see, that's the thing. I
And
know that's the worst part because trust me, I can give any one of you guys, sound tips to debating a flat earther, or I can watch a debate you've done and say exactly where that flat earther thought they had the upper hand. The problem
yep.
is the second I get triggered, I forget about all that shit. Like
And
everything
and
I used to know, I forget about it.
well, that's how I described it the other day when I was talking to Soapy. I was like, when you're in the ring, like you're going off instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to. It has to be muscle memory.
Yeah, that's how it is.
It's just like MMA. Like you can go in there with a strategy.
Oh yeah, it doesn't work that way.
The first time you get punched in the face, that's gone,
You don't
and
have
you're going off of your training. So you have to prepare in depth, and that's what I do, and that's why I have, at least in my opinion, I've been successful at it so far. I don't think I've lost a debate so far.
it's that's the issue though. The fact that we have to have a discussion of do debates matter to the facts or who just speaks. That's the issue right there. If we were just going to
Yeah.
lay out all the facts, first of all, he wasn't even on the right page of what I was even talking about, let alone doing anything for himself. He made himself look stupid. He admitted that they use Newtonian gravitation in orbital mechanics. He's conceding to the fact that they use it, that force. See what I'm saying? And it's ridiculous
Yeah.
that I'm realizing it all after it happened.
It's not really a fair system, but as I said before, I do it for the fun mostly.
But see, the thing is, it is a fair system because, for instance, normally here, if I have flat earthers on here and they're doing that long line of hogwash, I'll stop it. I'll stop everything and keep it right there. And like I said, I know all the pauses and why they're doing shit. Trust me, every time Pete does his laughing thing, I know exactly when he starts doing it to piss people off. Like I know all
Yeah.
it's just, but when I get triggered, nope, I forget everything. I forgot everything. I could probably tell
Right.
someone to stop, calm down, because they're getting triggered as I get triggered and then blow up.
That's why an impartial moderator is so important.
Yeah, I think Jose could have moderated a little bit better because me and Riley can't have a conversation and he knew it. But that would have been like a specialty moderation. It would have been a normal one because we both don't stop talking.
Yeah, Jose likes to step back from it.
Yeah, you can't do that. as a moderator.
Channel Q was a good moderator when I moderated Pete Shea because she would step in, and I think a couple of times she'd even dinged me, even though I was trying to be as polite as possible.
Well, somebody has to with Pete Shea. If you don't, he's just going to filibuster forever.
Oh yeah, and she checked him a couple of times when he went that way. And
I'm tired of checking Pete.
Yeah, but you were a good moderator. You should maybe step up, moderate some more debates.
I've even explained to him.
Yeah, I'm open.
I'd like you to debate, to moderate a debate between me and Riley, because again, we can't have a conversation. But I don't want to debate. I want it to be a conversation I'm not worried about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
you just want to talk to Riley?
Against Riley. Yeah, it's just it's an argument over semantics with Riley.
Yeah, but then what are you the moderator for if you're just talking?
To keep it respectful, because
just to keep the over talking to a minimum.
I know. I just need to ignore his comments. But this is what he does. He sees me into the panel and he goes like this. He goes, "Hey, dickhead." And my blood my heart starts pumping a little bit, and he goes, "Isn't this gravity a force?" And I go, "As I understand it, yes, I do." And he goes, "Science denier?" And I go, "You fucking idiot." I ask him a question, and he just derails the rest of the time. Like I told him,
hey, link the Hangouts. Link the Hangouts on chat.
Yeah. I literally have over 30 screenshots of just me and him going back and forth about this situation, and he just won't answer anything at all. And he doesn't understand that words have different meaning in scientific terms versus general. He likes to use these synonyms. That's their favorite thing, the whole level of flat. Well, he's using superseded, and if I didn't say it right, I don't care.
Superseded.
Yeah, thank you. He's using one of the synonyms for it, and he leaving out the 10 other ones that don't sound like replace, throw out, or fucking or forget about it for all mankind. Because Riley, they don't at all. Like you were saying, Blue, you said it so much better than I did earlier. Yeah, it was
honest to God, if you've got to look it up in the dictionary to figure out what it means, you don't need to be fucking talking about it.
Right.
Click on the Hangouts link at Teen Forget.
Just pretend like you're talking to a child. That's what I do, and of course, I have a really high tolerance.
I wouldn't give any of these flat earthers the benefit I would give a child.
No,
well, I don't know.
They don't deserve it.
Go straight to the throat. That's my theory.
Well, yeah, here's the thing.
I guess I'm just really laid back, but I have a really high tolerance for being called names. It doesn't affect me at all.
Well, here's the thing. I come from a spot where I think it should be 100% respectful, but I'm not sure if anybody. I mean, unless you guys have been living under a rock. As I throw up the tombstones, I've gotten a little angry, and it's because pretty much the majority of the people that I vouched for as flat earthers, as still good people, have basically look. Or let me move the Hangouts real quick. Have pretty much showed me they give a shit less how things are.
Yeah, that's gotta
for the fun.
Hey, a Teen Forget wants to join the Hangout link. She doesn't, or that person doesn't know how.
I actually think it's kind of funny when they call me names. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I kind of do too, especially when I get called a murderer and a child killer and all those things. That's that doesn't affect.
These keyboard warriors are just precious, aren't they?
Yeah, it's that.
Lewis,
how you doing, buddy? How you doing, Lewis?
Doing. How are you?
Watch your video today, Lewis.
I was kind of hoping it was a sniper. Are you fucking cleaning your gun right now, Lewis?
No.
Okay.
He's got a video up there where he was shooting at 380.
Oh, you got a 380 Glock?
No, it's a it's a MP Shield EZ.
Don't threaten me, Lewis.
Oh, I got one of those.
Yeah.
Hey, Lewis, go to my channel and you can see my video about how to field strip a M4 rifle.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've got one on my channel. I'm starting a new channel about it's called Guns and Stuff.
All right, that might be good. I'm getting into having guns.
Oh, I've got a whole bag of them.
Hey, Lewis. We're gonna talk later on because I see you going down a path that kind of worries me, and I don't think we should.
Oh, really? Does it?
Yeah. There's some things that have been happening lately, especially in regards to the server. What happened? We're not going to even say anything, but what happened last week.
Yeah.
And then your new hobby.
This isn't. No, it's all coincidental.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Okay. I'll treat it as so.
Hey, Sugar.
Yes, sir.
What happened last week?
Had they already phased out the M16 when you went in?
Where can I find the recording?
Well, no. Mostly we. But I'm not sure if it's just you and I. Mostly we use the M4 or the M16. Oh my God.
Sorry, Schrodinger's.
Mostly we use the M4 for like CQB with the M16, but with the collapsible stock for like field work. And we still use the M9 Beretta, but we're slowly switching to the 6-hour 226 for the sidearm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the next rifle echelon will be.
Oh, shit, it was about 100 years ago when I was in, but we had the M16A1 fully automatic. I mean,
Oh well, no. Now we have
round burst thing.
Yep. Yeah. They added the so now we're on the M16A2 version, which has the 3-round burst, fully auto, semi-auto, and safe. And then it has the forward assist because with the A1, sometimes the slide wouldn't go fully forward.
Well, the A1 actually had a forward assist on it. The original M16 didn't.
Right.
But
So
A1,
they added that.
The A1 model had that forward assist on the right side there. Just whack it with a heel of your hand.
Yep, and it's very, very useful because
you might get one more round out of it.
But the ones
so let me ask you guys a question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Since you're gun enthusiasts, and I'm just going to presume, and I don't know why this person isn't muted, but whatever. I'm just going to presume that you have like carry privileges. Okay, so let's say you find yourselves carrying with your privilege in a place where somebody is now going to do like an active shooter and shoot people. Do you use your weapon to try to subdue this person? You personally, either one of you.
That is very, very situationally driven.
It really is.
There's no clear cut. That's why we run scenarios, and we even nowadays have computer generated situations that they'll put you in like a virtual reality, and
it also.
I'm talking about when you're being a civilian, though. When you're at civilian status, and you're just like at the movies with your family or something.
It depends on the state law, Q. If the state law has stand your ground, then you're fully you can engage.
Well, well, can and should are different.
Yeah.
I would say, am I there by myself or am I there with my family? If I'm there with my family, my first concern is going to be to sequester them and take care of my family. If I'm there by myself, then I may or may not engage. Are there multiple shooters? There's so many different variables that you can't just.
I understand.
Yeah, you can't.
But I was speaking more like a moral choice for you, or like a whatever for you as a citizen. When you're in civilian status, would you?
Would I shoot someone to stop them from shooting other people? Absolutely, in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I wouldn't give it a second thought.
Now, what if you saw somebody stabbing somebody? Would you shoot them?
Absolutely.
Yep. Same thing.
Okay, good to know. So then our gun laws are a good thing, aren't they?
To and when not to. It's more along the lines of knowing when basically knowing that that weapon doesn't ever come out unless need be.
Right.
That's
And I think
really more what it's about. It's not about pulling it out. It's about knowing when to keep it holstered.
Right.
Well, let's say you pull into a parking lot at a mall, and then as you're getting in your car, parking your car, you see a guy walking with a trench coat and clearly see the nuzzle of a couple different guns under his coat as he's walking towards the mall. Do you stop him?
No, you
Are there cops in his-
clandestinely follow him.
Okay.
No, wait. It would depend. If there is already cops surrounding him or in that situation,
No,
you
it's just
don't
like he
do
hasn't
anything.
even begun yet. He was just getting to the
Yes,
mall.
you do exactly. You follow.
Yeah, I would follow and observe.
You
but
can't shoot that man just because.
Okay, so now
Right.
as soon as he gets, let's say it's a mall, so it's going to have the double door kind of scenario. So once he gets through the second set of doors, he's going to walk into the big open area. And let's just say, for the sake of this scenario, there's a lot of people there. So he just immediately starts firing on everyone randomly.
You can't do
shoot him
anything
then?
until he raises that weapon.
You can shoot him then?
That's when
Yeah.
you're gonna have a lawsuit until
you
unless
would
you
be
can prove that part.
Yeah. You would have a really, really good case. But I would say, and I think Big Blue would back me up on this, that do not, and please, for the love of Christ, do not carry a firearm if you're not trained on that firearm.
That's very
That's
dangerous.
that's good advice.
More people get killed because people get scared and pull that fucking trigger.
Now, can I ask you a question about a situation that happened without actually having to mention it? But there is the situation where this security guard is said to have been too scared to protect people, and then other people are sending him a lot of hate, saying he didn't do his job, and then he should have done something, and then less people would have died, and putting all this blame on him.
For the majority of
Oh,
it.
are you referring to the Coward County cop in Florida?
Well, I didn't really want to necessarily point it. I just wanted to get the scenario.
Unless his job is to carry a weapon and to protect the people there. His job as a security guard, no matter what, is only to report, not to intervene. That's just what a mall security. There's no mall security. Their job description is to pull a weapon. They're not even supposed to be getting engaged.
Yeah, from what I understand from that situation in the school, that was his SOP, was to not engage. SOP being standard operating procedure was to not engage.
That has everything to do with insurance too. If you do something and then you get found guilty, and say a school, like I don't even know the story, but whoever hired him,
Like shoot a kid with a water pistol or something.
It would all be a part of the lawsuit. Like even then, you wouldn't do it to shoot a kid. Like I've seen more police cops like put their weapon somewhere before they walk campus. You got to remember, shit happens. What happens if your weapon becomes the weapon they grab?
I think it's unfair, the crap that guy's getting for whatever people expected him to do or think is his job. I don't think that they really need to be waiting on him.
And that's why in the military. Oh, go ahead.
It means you go out and shoot your gun and know.
Well,
that's trained.
No, what we have done, I know, in the military is kind of sort of stepped up the game and started using simunition, which is it's like paintball on steroids.
Yeah, tracers.
And so
Can this person mute or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure who that is, but we use simunition, and I can show you some simunition rounds. Not right now, but I have some in my gun safe, and it fucking hurts when you get shot by it. So what we used to do back in the day was sort of like point, bang, bang, you're dead. Now there's a projectile that's coming out of the pointy end of your gun and hitting the person, and it fucking hurts.
Yeah.
So
I've worked along the ranges and on Camp Pendleton, and they're like these little things, little long.
They're pink. Yeah,
they don't look like you should be getting shot either with them. And they used to bounce off my machines or ricochet off and hit me sometimes. It was fun.
They're not super accurate, but what it does is it gives you the incentive to not put yourself in the line of fire, because back in the day, what we would do is we would just run out there and just be like, bang, 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 not thinking, hey, rounds are coming in my direction. And when you would take cover, you'd be like, oh, I'm behind this. Well, the first thing that I did the first time I was in training with simunition is I took cover, and all of a sudden I started getting shot in my leg like 8 times, because the trainers, they're super accurate with their simunition because they've been doing it forever, and it really trains you to, when you take cover, fucking take cover. Like, don't just leave your legs sitting out there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. Yeah.
Right. So it makes the training a lot more realistic, and makes you a lot more cognizant of what happens when you get in a real combat situation. God, I could talk about this for an hour. So I'll shut up.
I can do it for 3. I do know for a fact they had. Oh, I know they definitely had to improve it by now, but I do remember them playing laser tag. Now it's not the laser tag we all know. No. No, they do. They do with the
yeah, I know. You had to put that vest on with all them sensors, and then the shit would go off randomly.
But theirs is different. It's basically like the vest, but it's
exactly
a thing across the chest, and their weapons are just something in the front of the yellow, big orange like block goes on it. And I watched them play laser tag. It's laser tag on insane steroids.
Yeah, but the equipment is garbage. It goes off randomly. I had to sign for all that crap. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it does. But I mean, I was just saying they do have laser tag.
Do you know what made infantry significantly more effective all by itself? There's one thing that did it.
The Mark 19.
They switched from bullseye targets to silhouettes, because when you're shooting a bullseye target, you're shooting a bullseye. When you're shooting a silhouette, it looks a whole lot more like a person. The combat effectiveness of the U.S. military went up something like 30% just by switching those targets. It's all mental.
And remember, here's the problem. Someone has to make those targets. Someone has to shoot those targets, or those target manufacturers go out of business. That's why, unfortunately, we're going to be at war forever. But hey, if we have to be at war forever, at least we're the number ones.
I don't want to go to war.
Huh?
I don't want to be at war.
Well, you won't be at war. Thank God Schrodinger's cat and shit is around, so we never had to. Thank you, sir.
I've got a silhouette up on my wall in my office.
Like I said, I always wanted to join, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you right now. I have gone for my concealed carry. It's not easy. Not going to lie, I didn't pass, so I have to wait a very long time. But I plan on doing private security. But the problem is that I don't have a problem with California being so strict, because you don't understand the responsibility of like being able to conceal carry. Because now, when you're able to do this, it's no longer just protecting yourself or your family. You then put yourself in a situation where the law puts everything in the victims, or whoever gets shot's corner, because you had to have known for a fact. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts that you did this on good faith, that you knew what you were doing. Like, that's how strict it is here in California and a lot of other places. So I mean,
California's the last place I'd want to carry.
No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult.
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd carry in
all
California.
Those cops are trigger happy. Shoot at anything.
The thing is I can't.
You saw him. You had a gun.
I can only take it one more time. So I'm not going to.
Did you change the name of California too?
And I'm thinking I'm going somewhere else and providing residence and then getting it there. Would have to do it for like 6 months, I think. But it's very hard to do it in California. Very hard. But I'm told once you get it, those private security guys get paid top dollar because of that fact. So
I could see that in California. Yeah.
I got a buddy that does private security. He makes 4 times what the guys do that don't have concealed carry.
Yeah, it's a game changer in that world. And that would, for me, it was just taking money to the banks from dispensaries. That's all that was. And that's Those guys are getting paid 100, 120 a year. And I'm talking about the
Jesus.
guys the private guys that work in those dispensaries, is standing there and transporting. That's how much they make a year. Easy.
Yeah, my brother, I'll say it openly. He doesn't have a hell of a lot of common sense, and he doesn't own a gun, but he wanted to buy a gun. So before he did, I said, I will loan you one of mine, just to, feel it out, keep it in your, dresser drawer or whatever. But I took him 2 boxes of ammo and an extra magazine. And I said, do not carry this weapon until you've shot all 100 rounds of this. I said, this gun is useless to you. If somebody kicks in your door in the middle of the night and you can't load and take this weapon off safe after you've been woken from a dead sleep at 3 a.m, this weapon is useless to you. And 3 weeks later, he brought it back to me with both boxes of ammo and the magazine. He hadn't shot it once. His wife told him he couldn't have it in the house anymore.
What I realized, and a lot of people don't realize this.
What I realized is I just looked at our stream, and it's just like a bunch of people talking about guns in a graveyard. So pretty grim, guys.
Hang on. I want to say this last one. Let me change the subject. Then we can change the subject. One of the big things is about like the shooting range. Yes, it's for aim. Get used to shooting, but a lot of people don't realize this. It's more used to hearing it. Think about that part, because a lot of people, that's what triggers them. That fight or flight, and you don't want to be on the flight part after you shot.
Well, what we always had to do was we would always have to run at least 100 yards full speed before we would shoot, because standing in an alley at a gun range, that's pretty, your heart rate's fine, everything's fine.
Yeah, but
no big deal.
But the popping sound doesn't. Trust me. I remember the first 5 times I went to the shooting range. It went from jumping to jumpy to hearing it to now I don't even pay attention to it anymore.
Yeah. Well, what we would do on our outdoor ranges, we had the huge outdoor speakers like you do at a football game.
Yeah.
Just blaring 50 cal, and then heavy metal and babies crying and everything you could think of.
Oh,
I think Big Blue wanted to say something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no, I was just... I can't think of what I was going to say now.
What's that new gun that new compact pistol that just came out that has 15 rounds?
Oh, before you say that, me and my pops did the grading on one of the first Iraqi towns on Camp Pendleton, the simulation towns. And where we were working was less than 1/8 of a mile from that town. So for 4 years, I listened to the Iraqi screams and yells of the church stuff that they do when they blare it like as loud as they can out there.
The call to prayer.
Yeah. I heard that for 4 years every day.
I did as well, because I was in Bahrain and then Kuwait and then Bahrain again.
Were you an opportunity to go to any kind of the training spots that they started to do like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, the little villages the little mock-up villages. That's where we did our that's where we did our close quarters combat training.
Yeah. The ones there. Did they use the shipping containers?
Yeah, shipping. That's where they would make most of the mock-up villages out of.
Yeah, so
the place I was at had full-blown concrete buildings that they used.
Yeah, if you go to
Fort Carson, Colorado.
If you go to the Delta Force compound, they have one. The SEAL Team 6 has one, and then there's a huge one out here in Chesapeake at the Annex, and Blackwater has one as well. And I'm sure there's tons of others that have it as well.
Blackwater has like 3 or 4 just in these random locations in Arizona and New Mexico. It's crazy.
I'm talking about the Blackwater. Too. I'm talking about the Blackwater compound out here at the actual Blackwater headquarters.
Oh,
I've had the opportunity to go. No. It's in Moyock, North Carolina.
I consider it a city because they're like,
it's
all
the
our
city.
workers' families live here. they're like, if
anything
were to happen, we're well protected. You're like, oh fuck.
Well, they have an actual hotel on their compound.
Yeah.
I've been out there. I've been out there 2 or 3 times to their ranges. They have an actual 747 fuselage that they practice, for hijackings. They have several different ranges, all different types: long-range rifle, shotgun, pistol, regular, M4, M16. What I was going to say real quick, because I'm going to go here in a minute, but the psychologists at the beginning of the what we call the global war on terrorism figured out that the number one sound that gets to an adult male is the sound of a baby crying. So when they're trying to break down a prisoner, they'll play over. Man. No, it's just they play over loudspeakers the sound of baby crying.
Oh yeah. They bunch of shit.
It should be classified.
Guess what number 2 was? Justin Bieber.
That's fucked up.
Isn't that the same as the baby crying?
I had to go on a long trip with a lieutenant, and there was 5 of us in the van. We were on funeral detail. We had like a 3-hour drive somewhere, and I put a crying baby ringtone on my phone and played it over and over and over again. And he got so mad. He about blew his cork.
All right, okay.
I really need to point out the fact that there's this person who is on the panel with us, and then they're saying things in the chat like, if we are spinning at 1,000 miles per hour and going around the sun at 65,000 miles per hour and hurtling in the galaxy at 500,000 miles per hour, how can we look at the stars at night? Or how can the same stars come back every night? This is
Jesus Christ. Scale. I'll just say scale. Yep. And then I'm going to mute.
Scale, that is the answer.
What do you mean, like fish scales?
I gotta start looking at the chat more. That's my fault.
Yeah.
They're like spamming your chat with all this like old ass flat earth rhetoric bullshit.
Yeah,
that's
not
my problem. That's my wrench's problem.
Well, they're wrenched.
They've had the answer.
Yeah, dude, you got that person wrenched, and they're on the panel right now, Sean.
Oh no, I don't care. I'm not worried about the panel. They can do whatever they want to this panel. Like, I'm already ready. I'm already ready.
This person that, just because we're moving at all this around, we're moving in this huge space. It's like, if you spin around in your room really fast, are you going to stop seeing your ceiling?
When you get really, really drunk?
Will your ceiling get out of place because you spun around inside your room?
Well, here's the most important thing about it that I realized when this whole thing came. That's what I'll do. I'll ask my question.
Here, I'll answer it. When you get really, really drunk.
I haven't answered it. Or asked it yet.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so here it is.
I dare you to run in a circle as fast as you can in your room until you get your ceiling to be misaligned or you don't see it anymore. Go ahead, try. Run as fast as you can and see if you can get that ceiling to not be in line of sight anymore.
I just had knee surgery. I can't run.
Well, I just don't understand the question because I could run really fast in a circle or a square or triangle in a room, and I'm never going to lose sight of my ceiling.
Well, here's how you know the Earth is spinning. If you get really, really drunk and then you lay down on your bed to go to sleep and everything starts spinning, that's
not even a serious answer, and I don't drink.
Yeah, I was going to say, at best, you say vertigo because I have that and it feels like it, but that's still not the same.
Yeah, but Sean, how fast can you run until your ceiling disappears, dude? How fast in a circle can you run in a room until your ceiling goes out of your line of sight, dude?
I'm not stupid enough to even attempt that.
It's the same question, isn't it? Isn't it the same question that this person has asked?
Yes, it is.
How fast can you run in a circle till your ceiling gets out of line of sight?
Channel Q, I'm really worried about you because you said that you don't drink. I think we need to have an intervention.
Wait, drinking is disgusting.
With Channel Q.
Why?
What?
I should say I can't drink because I have holes in my brain, dude.
And drinking is disgusting anyway, dude. Makes drunk people wet themselves. Drunk people
asking for money.
Yeah, they run through walls and shit.
They're always late on their rent.
Are we talking about the Morgile?
No, I'm just talking about drunk people in general.
No, the Morgile doesn't pay rent.
I was joking. Calm down, everybody.
You're
right.
I completely forgot. Fucking Fight the Deception. That guy was supposed to come out with something and he didn't. Darn. I was gonna make a tombstone. I'm really gonna start liking these tombstone thing. I think it's fun.
I think it's grim.
It is, but this reality.
I like it.
They're my friends. Everyone that's on there, except for Riley. Riley's the only one I don't care about.
You need like a Qui-Gon Jinn pyre, dude. You need like.
Q Flow Grown has a question for you.
Yeah, what were you saying? Oh,
I
that's
probably
Nick.
don't want to hear it.
I think that's. I'm pretty sure that's Nick.
I was running around your fan represent the Earth. Who said anything about running around a fan? Where do you guys just add things into sentences from?
God damn it.
Somebody had to have a fan, dude. If you need a fan, I don't know.
And 19 people need to get on the panels. Jump on the panels, people.
Here's the thing, dude. You don't need a fan. You just need a room and a ceiling and a floor, and then you just run around in a circle like as if you're the Earth going hurtling through the universe at 500,000 miles an hour and see if you can lose sight of your fucking ceiling, dude. Think.
Just need to simply realize that the nearest star to us is 4 light years away.
That's our sun.
No,
it's Proxima Centauri.
Right.
Oh, shit.
But that's still 4 light years. That is, our sun is 8 light minutes away.
Yeah, it's 1 astronomical unit.
Yeah.
Don't throw all this number shit at me.
Oh, I'm
sorry.
I figured out a bunch of shit on Stellarium. Check this the fuck out. It is awesome. You can go anywhere. You know how the Reading Rainbow, you can fly high anywhere in the sky? Fuck Reading Rainbow. Stellarium took the fuck over. I was sitting on fucking Pluto watching the solar system do its thing last night. Have you ever done that shit, people? It's no longer that we can't go there, fuckers.
I heard somebody ask
have a lot
yesterday.
of free time, don't you, Sean?
A little bit.
I heard somebody asking yesterday if Jupiter's such a big planet that it must weigh a lot.
Yeah, it has,
Apparently they don't know that it's a gas planet.
No. It has more mass. It has a lot more mass than Earth.
Well, but it's way the fuck bigger too.
It's gas.
Yeah,
huge.
Yeah, but it still has a. I think it's 29%. I don't know. I'm not gonna kill it. Never mind. Ask me.
Yeah.
Well, see, I think they were trying to figure out, like, if Jupiter's so heavy, how come the Earth isn't getting pulled towards it? Because we're closer to it than we are to the sun, right?
I don't know about how much it is, and I've thought about trying to figure out how you would tell how much gravitational pull everything's doing on each other, and it seems too hard.
It gets quite complicated.
I have a GIF I can share you that has the equation on it.
The Earth is not orbiting the sun, says Gary Wenbenga.
Oh, well, with a name like that.
Good for Gary.
No, I think where it is in Winnebago.
Let's do it in
Winnebago?
Here, let's let Blue.
We'll just do it in flat Earth terms that they can understand. The reason we're not being pulled toward Jupiter is because we're not in disequilibrium. Okay, we are actually in equilibrium.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
All of the forces have balanced themselves out. That's why we don't get pulled to Jupiter.
So, have you ever
What a great
looked
job
up?
that was.
Have you ever looked up and seen an airplane at cruising altitude, and it looks like it's going like super, super slow?
Oh yeah.
And it's only at like 37,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's extrapolate that out to 400 light years. How much slower is it going to be moving?
And you know what else I realized? And what happens when you don't have the ground?
But if the Earth,
Yeah, the whole I'm going to move left and right, up and down, seems to change on Stellarium. Kind of like as it would for real.
Kind of lose your reference, do you?
if the Earth is spinning, if the Earth is spinning 1,000 miles an hour, why can't I just go straight up and then wait for my point of origin to get under me and then drop back down?
That's such a horrible argument.
That's a beautiful.
Jump a little
My
bit higher.
favorite one.
I think Quantum Racer was really close to asking that question on Nathan Oakley's show a couple of days ago.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But he did go through the airplane bullshit,
Apparently, they
And
expect
that's what
helicopters to defy gravity.
Oh, holy shit, Q. Oh my God. You are so awesome. So,
what did I do?
You just brought it all full circle. Oh, so beautifully done, too.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
I do that.
That was fucking awesome. Okay, so I was reading through some articles, and you'll never guess what I came across.
I guess whatever I was just talking about, I can't remember because I'm all startled.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My bad. Just when I remember some shit, I really want to get it out.
Helicopters defying gravity.
Yeah, so NASA is making a Mars helicopter, and they're testing it in the final phases. And to me,
You know what I think the problem is with flat earthers is that they confuse flying with defying gravity. They're not the same thing.
Well,
Correct.
I was confused. I was like, well, first off,
flying is not
flying.
Birds are not defying gravity. They're flying.
They're creating lift.
But here's the thing. Exactly. Here's the thing. My first thing was, well, as far as I know, Mars doesn't have an atmosphere like we do. So I wouldn't, this is called honest research. This is not to you guys. I'm just saying in general. So I went like, hey, what the fuck is the atmosphere like on Mars? Because I was all confused and shit. I was like, okay, I've got this figured out. I figured out it was like 95% carbon dioxide. Here it is right here.
But it's only about 1% of what we got.
It's like they need some trees.
It's 0.13 oxygen.
Yeah, definitely trees would help.
Yeah, so I was like, how does a helicopter fly? And then someone in the server made it pretty clear. It's like, just got to ramp it up. You know what I mean? Like the copter, the damn, what do you call them? The propellers.
The rotors.
Rotors, yeah. Duh. I was gonna say. I was checking you guys, and you guys failed.
Well, they're actually wings. So
no, man,
a helicopter.
They don't call them wings.
Yes, we do. They're rotary.
Rotary wing
aircraft.
Heat shield is
I thought they were
rotary
blades.
wing.
If you get a pilot's license, it will say one of two
Rotary
things:
wing.
fixed
It's
wing
not a
or
wing.
rotary
It's
wing.
not a wing. It's not a rotary wing.
It is wing.
No, it isn't. It's an airfoil. It's an
Here's the
airfoil.
thing: if there was no gravity, birds couldn't fly.
Yeah.
Well,
let's talk about why.
I want to
shit
call them
stays up.
zippity zoos.
If there was no gravity, then when birds died, they would just stay up there.
I'm telling you right now.
So is their poo.
Hey, Chemo Spurs figured that out. And if you don't know, it's called sticky air. And it also is a hunter's best friend. If you haven't seen the pictures, I'm too lazy to do it right now. It may pop up out of nowhere, but I wanted to talk about this because I want to talk about it, and it will really piss flat earthers off.
If there was no gravity, what would the air over Europe look like after World War II?
There wouldn't
Gone.
be air.
No, I'm just saying it would be full of like aircraft that have been shot to hell.
How would it have been?
Yeah, shit would be floating around.
If there wasn't gravity, there wouldn't even be a planet.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking about
that. Was a joke. Just go with my goddamn joke, please.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you
know?
Are you drinking?
You forgot to account for relative density disequilibrium, damn it.
Yep.
Duh. No, it's not gravity, but it's gravity, not gravity. Gravity, not gravity. Gravity, not. It's not.
Look.
But it's gravity.
I'll just laugh when I say a joke and just not pick it
You guys
apart.
didn't even let me get my question out. Okay.
Relative gravity.
Planes aren't defying gravity at all.
Huh?
But rockets defy gravity, but only the last few minutes of its journey.
Jumping is the new anti-gravity.
Oh yeah, that's the what's his name?
Okay.
The yoga instructor.
Okay, well, go on a planet with less gravity and tell me how well you jump.
How am I gonna get there? Uber?
Yeah,
That's not even funny because probably.
Is it? What if House of Pain goes there?
Who? I don't know
House of Pain.
Ooh.
Yeah. Q got my joke. Thank you, Q.
Oh my God, you're doing that still? Jeez,
I don't know.
you and Dean do these jokes things, now, and it's like, gosh, you guys are
How does a
just-
helicopter work in space?
Well, it's not in. That's the thing. It's not in space. It'll be in Mars' atmosphere, and there's
Right.
Yeah,
and its
but
atmosphere is dense enough to be able to do it.
Well, you could
With,
work a
with carbon
helicopter
monoxide,
on.
of course, it's dense enough.
You could
it
use a
must be if they're going to bring a helicopter.
You could do one on the moon if you had big enough rotors.
Which reminds me, tomorrow I'm fucking bitch slapping. I'm
Gonna
bitch
need a
slapping
big
all
enough
them
rotor, like
carbon
one
capture
eraser
people.
needs a cup.
Oh, it'd be gigantic, but I'm just saying it's theoretically possible.
What are you doing to the carbon capture people now?
Okay, yeah. Did you guys see the news reports that are out now about direct carbon capture?
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. Why don't they just plant some trees in England?
So I remember Barney was telling me that one of the plus sides to this is that the whole capture and then making it become a fuel. And then I looked into it, and here's what I found. The problem is that it's the fuel cell for it. They're advertising it as it because it's pure carbon dioxide. That's okay to release in the air.
Carbon dioxide's okay. It's carbon monoxide you don't want.
Oh no! It's carbon dioxide is what we're trying to get rid of right now.
True.
Carbon dioxide is what trees breathe.
Yeah, but there's not enough trees to breathe enough in to make a difference. And it's
we just got a bit too much of it.
It's making a thick layer of crap that the sun's radiation is able to penetrate to a certain extent, but it's not able to exit back off the planet like it normally does. So what it's doing is quote unquote global warming. Don't worry, they got geoengineering.
That's why Venus has runaway greenhouse effect.
They're gonna have geoengineering coming up pretty soon. As a matter of fact, I can tell you right now, ScopeX starts next month. I know that for a fact now. And tomorrow I'm doing geoengineering and not flat Earth. So guess what? 2.5 hours of information and no Pete.
Sean, what's the basis of geoengineering?
Say again? What's the point of it?
Now, what's the basis of it? Like, if you were, I don't know what it is. That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so we have two major issues right now. It's obviously the CO2, then the carbon dioxide, and the global warming. Two different things. Emissions, global warming. They're putting it together, I know, but they're not the same. And the solutions are not solutions to the same. Without being one-sided, geoengineering is a method that they have advised, or thousands of methods, to alter how our climate or the ecosystem works. It's hard to explain. Like you just asked me a question that has 1,000 solutions and 1,000 reasons, and I can't. I'm trying to not pinpoint one because that's.
So you're basically saying that they have a fuel cell that will convert carbon dioxide back into some useful.
Okay. I know how to answer perfectly now. Okay, if the goal is to lower CO2 numbers and emissions in our skies, the issue is that they're producing more of those emissions to pursue these methods. So if it takes fake number, if it takes 10 parts out, it's producing 15 parts. What they're doing.
So are we talking about like terraforming?
No.
Like
no. Okay, so what we're talking about right now is direct air capture. These are these big megalithic. I'll pull something up for you. These big machines that will directly suck in the atmosphere around their devices, and it will pull the carbon dioxide out. What they want to do with it is they want to capture it from these, and this is just one thing. Trust me, there's so much more to it. What they're doing is they want to capture it and then convert it into a fuel, and then obviously it'll be a cleaner fuel. By that time, it will be more on renewable fuels and ching. But that's very biased version of it. But on the other hand, if not doing that, they want to store it underground, which is
stupid.
The biggest issue with this is, well, the biggest issue with everything I'm saying is that there's not enough information to predict what could happen, and the risks are very bad in my opinion. When it comes to geoengineering, I have to pinpoint one because then I can be more clear on it. For one, there's one method called solar radiation management. It's kind of why I brought up the sun's radiation and the light rays. What's happening is because the globe is warming, because of these emissions are not allowing the radiation and the heat to escape Earth, they want to spray sulfates in the stratosphere to block as much of the sun's radiation and rays as they can, therefore giving the Earth a chance to cool down.
Shit, they're already doing that.
Well,
it sounds like the plot to the Matrix.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be.
I hate to feel flat earthed with that idea, but yeah.
Hey, Adam, you ready for this? Adam, you said how that sounds like Matrix and shit. You want to know how real this is? Let me show you right now. This is how real this is. This is the organization that is already publicly preparing for the first field experiment to present to Congress, and Bill Gates funds it, and also, yeah, it's pretty serious. It's not a conspiracy anymore. They're going to be doing this, but the dangerous part, I mean, they're going to be geoengineering, which means the climate, everything you knew about weather and time of the years, all that shit's going to change, basically. Tomorrow I'll get into it.
Well, aren't they already doing the carbon sequestering? Yes,
and that's the problem, because the danger of it isn't being told, and the dangers of sequestration is insane. We're talking millions could die if something bad happens, and I don't know if something is or not, but there's a good chance it could, because we don't know how to do it yet. My opinion.
It's very difficult technology all the way around. And you know, we were accidentally doing this stuff years ago, unintentionally.
Yeah.
Before the controls were required to the extent they are today for particulates.
And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about tomorrow.
What has happened? Well, starting with the 1970 Clean Air Act, really, and the requirements to lower particulate emissions. We've managed to take all of it. No, that was 19.
With the catalytic converters and things like that as well.
That was in 1970. The Clean Air Act required substantial reductions in particulate. And that was the first thing, followed quickly by regulations for sulfur dioxide, followed by regulations for oxides of nitrogen, and then other things started coming into play, like heavy metals, mercury and this thing and that thing. And it led to the development of an entire myriad of technologies to address these various things. But my point is that if you go back to the mid 1960s, the power plants that are the main contributors, coal-fired power plants, were putting out a fair amount of particulate too, and that particulate was acting to mitigate the effects of the additional CO2 that we were putting in the atmosphere. But now you go and you take all the particulate out, but you haven't done anything to the CO2, and guess what happens? What you're seeing right now is what happens.
Right. And so another thing, Sean,
doing a good thing on the one hand is doing a bad thing on the other hand.
If you want to be really thorough, I would say make the comparison between the uranium rods, that the used uranium that we have to sequester, because that's an issue also.
No, but here's the
so
thing.
you could make a comparison between the two, because we have the same problem now. They're not letting us use Yucca Mountain, so these things are having to be stored in these pools.
But here's the thing.
just poison all the water.
Here's the thing. They know how to store that. The problem is they don't have anywhere to store it. The difference is they have no clue how to store carbon dioxide. Because remember, it's not just this lovable gas that plants eat. Like it's if in a small bunch in the thousands tonnage, it's gone through and killed villages. I've gone through that. Now they're sequestering millions, hundreds of millions of tons of this stuff. So if worst case scenario, and this is not even far fetched, this isn't conspiracy. If something were to happen, we're talking a city, hundreds of thousands, almost maybe millions could die if this catastrophe happened with the leak. I mean, and I know that's far fetched, but the realization is that's actually a risk that we're under right now with those. Like now, it's a real one too.
Right, and well, deep water methane as well.
Okay,
it wouldn't take much.
Yeah, they're doing with methane and also CO2.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't take much more than a tremor under certain parts of the ocean to release all of the methane up to the surface.
Right back,
and guess what? We're effed in the A.
And I haven't got into that one. That's actually tomorrow. I wanted to get into ocean fertilization because, believe it or not, it's the easiest to do, and it's probably the fucking worst one going on right now. Especially because like they're not even allowed to yet, but they're doing ocean fertilization as much as they can. For those that don't know, that's when they use iron in the ocean, and it stimulates the phytoplankton, and then the phytoplankton, more phytoplankton there is, the more carbon dioxide that they suck up out of the air that would be in the ocean. They die, and then they fall to the bottom of the ocean, and basically the carbon becomes so dense down there, So at that depth that it sequesters itself. Literally, a pocket of CO2 is how they want to do it in the ocean. They want to store this bubble. Remember the bubble I was talking about could leak out in the land? That bubble underwater, not in anything, it will keep itself down there for quote unquote 1,000 years. They hope. It's pretty. And then remember, all the emissions and money that it took to get that CO2 then would be a waste. And we're still producing more to even do what we're doing. But the guys who have these, like David Keith, the guy who has a company that owns direct air capture, he's also the guy that works for Harvard University running Scope X. If he blocks out the radiation and all that shit, right? You know what ends up happening, right? That CO2 becomes trapped. Damn, those direct air capture machines are going to be pretty damn fucking useful if the CO2 emissions get trapped on Earth. Wouldn't that be?
Yeah. Well, there are ways out of this because can't they use algae as they have ways to make algae into fuel?
They're using a lot of I know there's a lot of farms that are doing a lot of these things now.
Right, but that would at least utilize a lot of that CO2, wouldn't it?
And what I was saying before about how there are thousands of
very little
ideas,
actually.
That's the problem.
Isn't that what causes red tide?
Yes, and that's what forms dead seas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm asking. I'm ignorant of this topic. I'm asking questions.
Basically, red tide is, in a nutshell, population control for these phytoplankton. The problem is the chemical they release. It makes the ocean
acidifies.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these oceans die off. Dead seas is what they call them. A really scary aspect of this is right now the Great Barrier Reef. It's to the point where
it's bleaching out.
They're bleaching out. They're going to use cloud brightening, which is a form of solar radiation management, like I was saying before, but it's a little bit smaller of a scale, but it's still geoengineering. They're going to do a couple of methods of geoengineering on that stuff. And it's considered geoengineering. It's not, like a chemtrail word. It's what's happening. And that's why I wanted to start doing more of these episodes about this shit. Cause, the stuff I'm telling you guys, like, it's very out there. This stuff right here is easy. There's stuff that I have that I'm still trying to figure out if I can present with bias or non-bias. Like that's what I'm trying to fix right now with myself. So it goes a lot deeper than everything. But I can't, like I said, guys, like with 9/11, I don't want to go too deep, and before I can back out and really like take a good look at it. So.
All right, I'm going to punch out. It's my bedtime.
All right, sir.
Thanks for having me. Thanks everybody for listening to my nonsense, and we'll see y'all tomorrow or sometime soon.
I'll be on tomorrow. All right, have a good one, sir.
Be safe, buddy.
Later.
Yeah,
See you, Cat.
Nothing big is going on right now. I went live.
Check this out. Look what's going on right here. Look what's going on right here. Look, Mind of God is doing an open dialogue. He's got 7 people watching, and at least 2 of them are just me and Jim Panda trolling him.
I'm done with that. I can't stand that guy.
He asked me about my felony charges the other night, and he shut up in about 2 seconds when I told him what they were.
Yeah, he's. I don't know what came over him. I even told him, man, I was like, dude, you don't like that term. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. Like that shit was as real as it gets. Like, dude, like I booted people off my fucking panel for him to make him feel good.
Who is that guy?
He's nothing. He's a nobody. He's real. That's real shit about it too. It's like,
is that the same topic that you have right now?
Oh no. He's a nobody like that. No, that's not. That is not. Oh, trust me, no, fuck no. That guy, he literally is a nobody.
All you need to do with Mind of God is think orthogonal vectors.
Oh man, you just gotta just keep him off.
Free body diagrams.
Yeah.
He's worse than Pete, because Pete, you expect it from.
Or we can discuss pendulums again.
No man,
are you trolling him, Q? Q's trolling that guy, isn't she?
I hope so. Hey, troll Sean Hawkins until he fucking grows a pair. That motherfucker rage quitted on me and cried, and it pissed me off, and I'm raging about it. He said, you guys were there. I don't want to talk about it. I'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
Oh, she was crazy. He's got all pissed off, angry guy. And
he's always angry.
Vine says, "Oh, he's got a tombstone on your channel because he called you out for being an atheist effer."
Who?
Oh, do I get an atheist tombstone on Mog's channel? Now I want to go troll.
No. Sean G gave Seek and Find a tombstone on his channel, and Seek and Find. I mentioned it to him in this chat, and he said, "Yeah, because I called him out for being an atheist effer, like F-er, effer."
Oh yeah, nah, yeah, he knows what's up. He's a fake, and he was one of the ones I defended. Definitely couldn't be a fake, and he turned out to be a fucking fraud. It pissed me off. That's all. Hey, I'm not putting just flat earthers down there. I'm only gonna put flat earthers that deserve to be down there. Look, flat Earth data gone. He fucking deleted his channel.
Is that Mind of Manny over there too?
Yeah, Mind of Manny and the Mies King are on with Mog.
Yeah, those are people that I just have no time for anymore.
Over there and give them a thumbs down. Let them know how you really feel.
That's the best part about those tombstones too. I want those people to know you didn't leave here because you on your own validity. It's because you're mad because I called you out. Just remember that shit.
I just told them to come debate on this channel.
Are they discussing anything worthwhile, Q?
Oh no, they never do.
What's that?
Said, are they discussing anything worthwhile?
No, on Mind of God's channel, he's probably reading Bible verses right now.
No, he's not. He's just going on and on about how he's, so much pious and so much
talking about gravity.
And so much flat earth, and he knows God, and we need to find God. Everybody's these other people have to be hated because they're not like him.
That'd be cool.
Oh, I should go told
if everyone went over there and was like call Seek and Find, Seek and Lies, I would be so happy.
Hey, what's your channel is Sean G, right?
Yeah.
That's your channel you're on.
Yeah, He's like who? Pseudo army soldier.
Oh
That
yeah,
guy?
Seek and find. Yeah, that's what he calls me now because he's intellectually dishonest. Yeah, I don't.
No,
At
it's
this
because you're
point.
an atheist earther.
Oh no, but it started with being intellectually dishonest. Me and Lewis actually, and he failed at that one too. Like I want to.
What do you want me to? What do you want me to say, Sean? Seeking lies.
Yeah, Seeking Lies. He loves that one.
Oh, he killed his stream. It's over, guys. He left.
Damn it.
That's all it took. That was so easy.
Now, mind to God, he lost my respect big time. That motherfucker had the nerve to talk shit about me on Team Skeptic. I was like, la la la. Oh, why is he on there? Oh, I've been on Sean's panel and I feel dumber. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, I was so pissed. Okay, I ain't got time for fucking fake people. Even if anybody's fake, I know now. I'll find out eventually.
He's on his own fucking planet, man.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm done dealing with it. Like I said, these are people I'm done dealing with. You can find. He's asked me about gravity so many times. I'll never need to hear him say it. Never again. I don't care. I told you. I told everyone. I was like, I don't give a fuck if no flat earthers ever come back on my stream. I'll start transitioning to my weather modification shit and ride off into the sunset, happy as fuck.
Oh, sorry, Darkseid. I didn't expect him to. I barely said anything.
You scared him off.
I would love to have a following like that one day. That would be so awesome. Just like attack, like people just go to the stream and just that'd be so cool.
I was trying to pull it up when Q said he shut it down.
Yeah, I know.
This is what I do for fun, guys. This is how I do life.
That's my true.
There's a channel.
He's like, I'm trying to get there. My browser is slow.
There's a Flat Earth 24/7 channel. You can go troll them.
Okay, so.
No, I
Maxwell,
am banned for life.
Yeah, are you new, Maxwell?
I can't get in the Discord and I can't talk in the chat.
Hey, channel.
Yeah, I'm fairly new to looking at Flat Earth.
So when I became a Glober again, they instantly banned my Sean G account. But I've had a sock account that I kind of just go in there. I dare not talk because if they hear my voice, they'll ban me instantly. Then the other night I went, hey, I should just hit up Michael. He's one of their mods. And I was like, hey Adam, hey Michael, I'm gonna come into the server and have a discussion together, talking about some stuff. And he actually hooked me up. I got as good of the roles as you can get as a Glober can get in the 24/7. And that's Maxwell. That's more because we actually all have a history with them. It is a bad place for people to go. It's even worse place for people to go that don't really understand the globe. Because
Karen won't let me anywhere near that shit.
I've been calling them out for a debate for a while now. I don't give a fuck. Anthony Riley may know how to talk, but I ain't worried about a damn one from the 24/7.
Have you ever debated anybody?
You want to hear some funny shit? Look back I think I did it about 2-3 weeks ago. It says debate 24/7 debate Flat Earth and More raid or something like that. With 24/7, I'm pretty sure you've been around there when it happened to the channel where 10 of them from 24/7 just attacks Jim's server to debate people, just that attack debate shit.
No, I don't think so because I was gone for a while because I can't stand it in there,
Yeah. Oh yeah. So this happens, and it was one of the nights I happened to be recording. So it was 5 of them came into the server, started talking a bunch of shit and all this stuff. And Paul Gravity. Yeah, he personally dismantles all 4 of them by himself. And all Karen did was talk shit and sound like a 12-year-old. But yeah, that's it was some funny shit. It's about 20 minutes long, but it's worth it. That was probably
Here's one.
That was the funniest part in the world.
Yo, Metal Slugger just informed me that Mog possibly is live again, but he disabled the chat box.
I bet you, buddy. I swear to God, he's probably listening. Probably listening to the channel right now, and he's like, "Okay, I disable the chat right now."
Hold on.
What's up?
Who's this guy? Let me go back. Who's here? I'll post a.
Oh, right next to you, Jay. He's a troll. He's dangerous.
No,
Oh.
no. This. Here, I'm gonna post a link.
Okay. Oh yeah, doors. No, that guy Jay.
He
You see him
went
in this...
live again and disabled his chat so he can't be trolled.
Hey, go check out the YouTube site I just posted on your YouTube channel.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
No, seriously, Metal Slugger. Like, how much shit does he talk?
Is he?
And then he
That's what he's doing?
disables his chat. Like, seriously, he's doing this like it's a commercial project.
That's censoring.
Yeah, it is.
He won't let us talk in his chat, and he always against censoring.
He censored me.
Yeah, he's got the mark of the beast now.
Oh shit!
Where are you guys at?
You better give him 2 tombstones.
You
He's
don't
gonna
know,
need a double stack of stones, dude.
you don't know
Tomb him up.
you don't know Might of God very well, do you? Oh,
No,
Maxwell.
this guy's new.
Yeah, we're gonna take you under our wing. You're gonna.
He
be
doesn't
the
know
best of the
anybody
best.
yet.
You're gonna be the best.
Who is that guy?
Yo, you need to get him a double stone, dude. He needs to be tombed, like entombed. Like get him a whole mausoleum. He's gonna need that.
We're gonna have to have a talk. You're gonna, the Obama.
You're gonna need to scribble a lot of shit on his stone, dude.
Remember when Obama said like the joke about him getting sat down and told everything? And
Hey, Sean,
instantly
isn't
gray?
Sean Hawkins? Isn't Sean Hawkins the guy that you were arguing with?
I wasn't arguing with him. He's having a heart attack about some shit. Hey, okay,
he's on this channel I just posted on your YouTube channel.
I have it up, but I'm not there yet. He's
It's
so
Kenny
cute.
5G's channel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's over there.
Yeah.
Wait, who?
That's great.
Poor Sean.
What did he say?
That is great.
He can't handle the rumpus, dude. This is hilarious.
Well, he lost. Kenny 5G lost his original channel. He
Who's
got
Kenny
flagged. So now it's
5G?
Just give me 5 minutes.
Oh, the wannabe poncho. That group.
Yeah. Now it's hold on, let me pull it up because he had to start a new channel.
I don't really care.
It's called Just Give Me 5 Minutes, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, that's the thing. I try to stay away from those channels. I mean, I can probably get into 10 or 15 still. I still have
Maxwell, you're being
access to the
accused
links.
of sounding like P. Mars. Uh-oh.
Maxwell, nah. He couldn't last that long without a nigger.
Or like talking shit to me.
Yeah, he has issues still, no matter what.
Iron FE from the chat. Being in a cult is never helpful for self-worth. Globe cultists need to come to terms with that.
Yeah. No, see, here's the best part about that. I'll go evidence for evidence with anybody. And I'll even do the whole, the ego thing. I'll bet my channel on it. But it'll, you won't do evidence for evidence because we'll only get to the first evidence. Just life sucks.
Metal Slugs. Mogg should do a three-body diagram of his arrogance and then mathematically calculate his hypocrisy quotient.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
You assholes.
I still don't believe he can actually do math. He hasn't proven that he can actually do math. He can't seem to figure out what an equation for, obstruction over flat surfaces should look like. So I don't know if he can actually do math.
Yeah, it's called bend.
In one of my early hangouts, me and Barney spent 2 hours trying to explain to him why his simple drone experiment would not fucking work.
And I told everyone before that shit started that was going to happen. Because the night before he went and talked to Jesse, I explained to him exactly what Jesse was going to tell him when it comes out to the grid system. And he went over there and just went, I don't care. And I tried to tell them in the chat the whole time he was doing that. I was like, he's doing it on purpose because he knows everything I told him the night before about it. He was doing that shit on purpose. I just thought it was funny they did that bridging shit. Yeah, you guys gotta keep talking. I'm tired. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing up this late.
She waiting for me to start my streams again tomorrow night, so y'all can go to bed and we could stay up until 8 o'clock in the morning.
God, these guys they sound crazy.
Who?
They're beyond crazy.
Oh, you have
Are
no
you going to
idea.
be on the air again tomorrow night, Crashes?
Yes, I am. Probation sent me an email saying I'll be able to stream tomorrow evening.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Here, you'll take up. Hey, make sure you hit up Sean. Make sure it's okay for you to stream.
Oh, which? Oh, Sean Hawkins?
Yeah.
Shit.
You haven't been around, have you?
Oh, yeah, I've been trolling chats. I've seen some of the shit that's gone on.
Tell him to stop crying like a bitch.
He does that a lot.
I wouldn't even be so like I didn't even do anything. First of all, I don't care, but I wouldn't care so much if he wasn't so angry all the time. How can you be that angry and get triggered and be angry that it's weird.
Who are you talking about? I didn't get a drink.
John
He got
Hawkins.
mad at me last night for saying 9/11 was a false flag, and he went apeshit rage quit. And as far as I know,
I watched a little bit of this morning, and it was just a misunderstanding. Like, he didn't know what you meant by false flag. He thought you meant hoax, and then he wouldn't listen to you. Yeah.
I tried to explain it to him.
My phone died while I was on that hangout. Mad props for standing up to victims of violent crimes and shit, though, because I was.
Oh, yeah.
So the Sandy Hook shit kind of triggers me. But
And that's also why Pete gets so much respect from me here. Trust me, if anybody knows Pete, you know how much he'll talk about 9/11 like till the cows come home. And he has a very offensive version of it. But he doesn't talk about it like that because I made it so he wasn't allowed to. That's why he gets so much leeway here. He's like, hey, Pete can not talk about that shit. Good on him. That's one step in the right direction.
I said my phone died.
I'm pretending I'm a flat earther on their channel.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Watch. I'm going to mysteriously do that shit, but I'm going to be so much better at it than Jose. Jose sucks at being a flat earther right now.
He's supposed to be setting up a debate with me and the fish guy.
Don't show. Boycott the fish. Boycott flat fish.
Who's the fish guy?
I'll call him Jose's
alter
stupid,
ego,
dumb ego cousin.
Oh,
thing.
Okay.
And I know it aggravates Schrodinger's cat because every time he does it when Schrodinger's cat's there, Schrodinger's cat has to out him right away. I know it's you, Jose.
Right.
I'm like, damn, we kind of already know. You got him. You got him, bud. Good job. Yeah, but I hate him with a passion, though. I don't like Jose.
Iron FE in the chat again, or Iron FE. Paranoid people's extraordinary claim of a standing water ball Earth in a vacuum requires extraordinary evidence.
He's been around a while, too.
Doesn't.
You're not convincing him. He don't give a fuck.
No, of course not.
He's flat or die. I know him. I can tell you, trust me, there's a lot of them. Oh. No point in talking to him.
Carlos is in the chat too.
I'm trying to figure out if I want to end this.
Yeah, same. Aristarchus.
He's on the East Coast too.
Oh God.
I don't know how you guys are up right now. I'm so tired. What time is it in Australia right
Pete's
now?
not here, so
I know Bandsaw.
It's going to be, well, in Perth, it's going to be exactly 11:20 because they're exactly on the opposite side of the world. It'll be 11:20 in the morning, I suppose.
Yep. Yeah, I was going to say they're usually eating coffee and fucking breakfast and lunch and shit when they
Why
jump on.
Why would anybody fuck a breakfast?
For real. Why would they eat coffee?
I'm tired, okay?
You said they're usually eating coffee and fucking breakfast. I'm like, whoa, dude, what are your mornings like?
Yeah, I don't know how you morning, bro, but they're not like mine.
Just chewing coffee grounds and having sex. I don't know what's going on.
Death Wish coffee, I'm out of it. I got to get some more tomorrow.
Ooh, I know what I'll do.
You want to know something about me? I've never drank a cup of coffee in my entire life.
I love coffee.
I gave up lots of drugs for my caffeine addiction.
You want to hear something really bad? My ex, she works in a coffee she's a barista. Is that how you say it?
Yes.
She She told me she drinks probably about, I think it's 15 cups of coffee a night because she works graveyard. So, and then she drinks a cup of coffee when she gets home and goes to sleep. I told her, I was like, that's not healthy. Addiction makes you think it is healthy because she's convinced caffeine is good for you. It's bad. Real bad. Don't drink coffee, people.
What's
It's
a
drug,
paroid?
too. What?
I don't drink coffee.
Coffee is bad for you.
Well, you don't drink alcohol. You don't drink coffee. What do you drink, Q?
I drink water and
Water.
I like juices. Like I have this one blueberry pomegranate juice I like, and then I drink sometimes Pepsi. It'd be like my vice.
Mind the Manny. How you been, buddy? Where you been? How you been, buddy? Where you been, buddy? Where you been at?
Oh, hey,
where you been?
Hey, Blue.
Yeah.
Hang on.
When
hang
I
on,
make
Crash. Hang on, Crash. Hang on. What's up,
Hey,
Manny?
how's it going? How's it going,
where,
gentlemen?
Where you
Ladies
been at,
and gentlemen.
homie? Where you been?
I've been here.
Where?
Been listening to you guys for a little bit.
Over at this stream? What were we talking? What were we talking about 15, 20 minutes ago?
I just got here like I don't know 5 or 10 minutes ago. You guys were talking about
no, but what
the
about
flat
before
Earth
that?
channels.
Where were you at?
Oh, I was on T-Mog's The Mind of God's.
I hurts my
live
feelings,
stream.
Manny. I hurts my feelings, man. You don't have to feel awkward. I'm just fucking with you.
It's all good. How are you guys? How's it going?
Great. Excellent. Just chilling. You know, gravity's the
What
force
part of
and
the
shit.
universe is the galaxy in right now?
What?
What part of the universe is the galaxy in right now?
Same old spiral arm it stays in. I don't know.
I like that question. That's an upgrade for many.
Like, what do you want to know? You want to know this in hectares or what?
It was a joke, by the way. Nobody knows. It's
Blue's going to be in another universe in about a month.
Yes, they do. They're called like hectares or something.
That's
in the
movies.
You know what hectares were in?
What?
What's the word? It is a movie word. I just can't think of it.
Is it inside Newtonian's gravity?
No, it's outside.
Oh, then I don't know.
It'd be where the galaxy is in the universe currently. Like the quadrant of space.
If I remember correctly, I think I forgot. I'm not going to say that. But anyway, wait, I'm so confused by that question already anyway. It sounded like
God,
solid.
don't people watch Star Trek?
Yeah, just ignore it.
No.
It was a joke. Nobody really knows.
Why do you sound like Mog today, Mind of Manny? I think you forgot your voice changer. You even whistled at the end of your sentence. This is so creepy right now. Stop creeping me out, Manny. Get your voice changer back on.
Yeah, it's all good.
Who's typing?
Do you not hear it? Am I
Who's
the only
texting?
one?
No, I hear it.
No,
It
it's
sounds like
Kerbal's
it's
program, dude.
Is that Lewis? Is
I
Lewis
don't know who
still
that
here
is.
still?
No,
Lewis
Lewis
got mad
That's
because
Jay.
he didn't get to talk for like ever.
Oh yeah, Lewis is another one that does that shit. I didn't get to talk. I'm hanging up. I'm going away. I don't like you guys.
Shit, I'll sit on a panel for hours and not say shit.
Happens, man. Well, I started my own stream. I got sick of doing it myself.
He knows how it works. He knows.
Well,
that you
well,
have
guys, later I don't want to troll you guys anymore, so I'm just gonna go for now.
Oh,
You're
take
not
care.
trolling us.
Huh?
You're not
Yeah.
trolling us.
I don't remember a troll. When did you troll us?
We're trolling you, dude.
Well, it sounds like you guys. How long have you guys been doing this live stream? Because you said you were tired, so
Always tired.
it's only 8:25 p.m.
No, it's 11.
Oh, I know the word you're thinking of, Q. It's parsecs.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Hey, man, this is a family show.
Aristarchus is.
That's right.
It's 20 parsecs. We're 20 parsecs from
Dude.
the sun.
Dude, it's a family show. Damn.
Okay.
Can't talk about car
How many
sex.
hectares? How many hectares are we away from it?
What the
I
hell?
don't know hectare. Who's hectare?
Like Carlos right down the street yelling higher Stargaze.
Yeah, I
Holy
think
hell.
I'm worried about somebody.
Well, at least we
Chasing
know
someone
Carlos is
down and
alive.
shit.
Is there a hotkey for the mute on Hangouts?
Huh? Yeah.
Is there a hotkey for mute on Hangouts?
How do you use this stuff?
I have things.
I don't know who's doing
Look,
it. So.
I'm doing what?
I'm confused right now.
You look like you told Sean, just one less.
I am Sean.
And I mean, like you told Pete, one less. One less.
Oh yeah. Oh
duty
yeah. I'm like
before you come on live.
Yeah, I should.
You
not.
like you're.
I'm like 3 easy. Oh yeah, 3 deep. I should have stopped a long time ago.
The question again: is there a hotkey for a mute for Hangouts?
I can make. Well, I have a micropad, so I can make one. But no, not in general. I can make one of my. I can make one of my OBS, but for
I know that.
Yeah, Hangouts itself, no.
Okay, you have to configure something especially for that.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Hangouts has one of those developer things that you can make apps for all that on Hangouts. Just no one ever does it.
Yeah, that's for nerds.
Yeah, I'm too lazy. I tried starting it. I got like through step 3, and it's like 100 steps. It was pretty bad. I was like, fuck that. But I was thinking, I want to watch the rest of that fucking lecture. Or maybe not the rest, but the rest of that break.
It's a good lecture.
It's very good. I enjoyed the shit out of it when I watched it. I've watched it so far at least 4 times. I think somebody getting kind of tired. I want to play the rest of that. I don't know if I want to play the rest of it because I don't remember how much is left. But I want to play a good chunk of that lecture.
That old movie?
Yeah, no, it's not.
Oh, it's a lecture.
Yeah, it's fucking Richard Feynman. Man, that guy, he explains gravity as a force like no other.
Sorry, I only saw like a second of it.
Oh, sorry.
Look, I only saw like maybe less than a minute of it.
You know,
I wasn't sure what it was. I didn't even really hear what it was about.
Well, I'm just saying everyone needs to be on the Gravity is a Force campaign right now. Because
Rumpus!
You said Rumpus.
Oh wait.
I'll yell Rumpus and you yell Iris Target.
So everyone understands that was like a spur of the moment. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to make sure that I was the first one to get the sound bite of that out, so that now I can really sit back and focus on making a good edit. But I got some ideas for that. That was just I had to get it out. I couldn't stop
yell
laughing.
it once or over and over again?
Huh?
Did he yell like that once or over and over again?
The first time he does it, all the yelling and it's for a long duration, that's one. The second one, when like you start seeing like his picture flashing back and forth real quick, I made that one. But he was bad though. It was always the yelling. It just wasn't always one nonstop. But it was crazy. And I have I completely forgot. I actually have the other half of that hangout. I remember because Dean came and got me, and he was like, "You have to hear this shit." I got over there, and Sean was screaming at the top of his lungs like that. And all I remember, I think maybe it was you, Channel. You were like, "How come no one tells them to shut up?" Because everyone was muted, laughing their asses off, typing in the side chat, laughing. It was so funny. It was the greatest thing I've ever heard. Crazy.
Oh.
And I think Dean started it. So.
That's how Crazy Gems server makes me, so I can relate a little bit.
Yes. Okay.
They got that one thing where they caught me where I broke out into like metal singing.
Well, you
So
know,
just driving me crazy, telling me what I was saying when I wasn't saying that.
you know when Debbie and Moyak would have a discussion, and then about an hour into it, how it would get.
No,
Like-
because I usually would hear curved and her go at it.
Okay, yeah, even better. Yeah, that's what it's like.
There you go. Present that video I just posted in your YouTube.
What? I haven't even looked at the YouTube in a while now. Pretty sure people are pissed.
Abbott and Costello.
No, I've been like keeping it. I've been like that's how Carlos got in here. I gave him the link and Manny too.
Oh, thank
Have
God.
you ever seen that
Thank you,
video?
channel. My goal right now, and I've been looking for on OBS, different OBS software platforms. I'm trying to find something that will tell me, for one, my mic's muted. For
Are you
two,
trying to replace me with a bot?
no, what? No, I
You're
didn't
trying
say
to-
that.
you're- My job's
No.
being threatened by bots, guys.
All hell's Q.
All three, channel Q.
I keep forgetting to get that sound bite. I got it. Oh, it's gonna be great. I got an idea. It's fun.
Flat Earth receptionist, guys.
Yeah, that's what I got to get my meeting thing. Get that back. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm tired. I'm gonna play some of that the Richard Feynman lecture, the rest of, or maybe not the rest of, but at least another 20 minutes of it, because that's about how long it'll take me to fall asleep.
Are you dropping this hangout then?
I was going to, unless someone wants it. I was just gonna hit the X button, so it's still gonna be usable. I just won't be in it. I'll come back.
Well, Bob just joined.
What's up, Bob?
Probably doesn't know.
Hey, anybody want to promote anything?
Good evening.
How you doing, sir? Yeah,
Do I want to promote anything?
Bob,
I want to make.
I was asking if anybody wants.
Bob, I want to start a GoFundMe for getting Bob a new desk chair. Bless your heart.
Oh, but no, Bob. I was gonna get off.
I'm in a closet, man.
I know, that was awesome though. You do a great green screen with that.
Wait, you're in a closet?
Jose's going live in 45 minutes.
He had to work
like, you just go another 45 minutes till Jose goes live. And Sleeping Warrior.
Oh, Jose's going live. Hurry
Sleeping
up and
Warrior
go.
just got here. How could you go now?
Oh, really?
Sleeping Warriors here?
Yeah, why don't we
So
get
Todd
Sleeping
Green
Warrior
still
in
think
here?
gravity is a force, still pretending Albert isn't the current science.
Hey, mighty God, why don't you come up here so you can give me? Hang on, guys. Hang on.
No.
Mute yourself. Hey, Carlos. Hang on. Mute yourself real quick because you got a lot of background.
Dang it.
I got something.
Gravity is a force, Sleeping
Hang on.
Warrior. We
Hang
proved it today.
Hang on, Matt. Hang on.
What the hell is that?
Hang on, guys. Hang on, guys. Hey, Sleeping Warrior.
Back.
You, hang on. You owe me an apology.
Yeah, you owe him an apology.
We can bring up the clip from Jose's chat where you said you would give me an apology if I showed you that how I've been saying it, my understanding of it, and why I use it as a force, and how I do understand general relativity, does not see it as a force. Remember those clips, those three? I put them up. I showed you were wrong. I'll be waiting for that apology. And then after the apology, I'll teach you where you went wrong with gravity.
Yeah, if you don't apologize, you're getting the tombstone.
He already has a tombstone.
Well, he's only just woke up, so that's a good
Yeah,
sign, right? He finally woke up to his bullshit.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing.
He documented the exact time that he woke up from his bullshit, guys. It was 4:34 a.m.
Yeah, see what? We got a Riley one.
Prove it. I want a citation that shows that you woke up at 4:34 a.m.
See, I made this Riley one. You guys can't see it in here, but people in the watch chat can see it. I made that one yesterday when he didn't show up and apologize like he was supposed to.
He says, I'll apologize for anything you want, just accept Albert is your current science. What the fuck is Albert, dude?
Yeah,
what are you
first of all,
talking
he's
about?
not our current science. General
What the fuck is
relativity
an Albert?
is what you're speaking about, but you need to understand that I've never refuted against general relativity, and that's what my upload is for. What I've proven you had no clue about, and you need to be apologizing on my panel for.
What is this word association game? Why are you trying to associate science to weird words like pedophile and Albert?
Oh yeah, he keeps calling me.
You know,
he
I'll
keeps saying-
tell you something.
he
I
keeps
don't want
saying
to
I'm
get
raping the
science lessons.
It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, he's accusing people of rape. What the hell?
I don't want to get my science from somebody who doesn't know the internal angles of a triangle.
or that specific
Fuck no.
gravity is relative density. Fuck. Are you
I don't even
fucking
know
kidding me,
if not being
dude?
able to tell the angles of a triangle qualifies you to operate a
Is
motorcycle.
Oh,
is
I
Riley
know
out?
he-
Is Riley out in the chat? Because
yeah,
I
he's
got a
here.
little question for him.
Yeah, he's here.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
he-
is.
Oh, cool.
He
So
just
if
woke up.
the egg so if the egg is less dense than the water, why isn't the air going into the water? Because it's less dense too.
Okay, hang on. I'm sorry to cut you off, Bob, but there's a problem I have. I actually had a question for Riley. Like, this was specifically for Riley, and I hadn't said anything because I want him to answer this question. Okay, I'll say this real quick, Riley. The last time I'm going to say it to you, I hope you understand this. My current understanding of how gravity works is Newtonian, because I do not understand how space-time works. But, and you'll hear me say that a lot because I say this a lot. But because I don't understand general relativity, I would therefore never use it in my applications from here on Earth. Now it gets a little bit better for me. Ready for this? Yes, they use Newtonian gravity on many applications on the surface of this Earth. You ready? Now answer this, Riley. If science doesn't consider it a force or ever use Newtonian, ever is what you said. When you drag race a car, what is that force you're measuring? Or a jet when it's traveling, when it's going through the sky, when it's afterburner, what are they measuring? What force is that? Please explain that. And how are they measuring it?
Droppity.
And can you do that with general relativity? That's another good one.
Generally, you can.
Now, Sleeping Warrior, you answer those questions, maybe I'll think of you as worth a shit to even have a discussion about this. Because otherwise, you are being intellectual.
An independent variable, and try and hold everybody accountable for it. Yet you have not demonstrated that your premise is correct. Specifically, is your definition of the independent variable the only definition of the independent variable? Do you understand what that definition even says? And are there any exceptions to it? So while you're mulling over that, you fallacy-laden fuck,
science denying.
I'm going to ask you a very simple question. Given the fact that time is an independent variable, what does that say about your little pet definition, Pally boy? Because it fits
Pally
mine.
boy.
But
No,
that's
he
my
didn't.
little
He didn't
question.
say it that gravity isn't a force. Prove it. I want to see a certificate. Yeah, I want to see a citation that says Albert didn't say gravity isn't a force.
And then answer my question about the force that you feel that is measured when you're, say, drag racing.
He would get you the citation, but he can't remember how to use meme maker.
Yeah. You should rewind this stream to the beginning, Riley. The very beginning, like from right after my intro. That's my citation. And if that citation isn't qualified, you aren't ready to have this conversation.
Ha 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 calls me intellectually dishonest. Ha ha ha.
Yeah,
no, I call you intellectually crippled, Riley. There's a difference.
He's not crippled. If he was crippled, then we'd have to feel sorry for him. He's not. He's not
you're
crippled.
Literally, Riley, a science denier in every sense of the word.
And you guys are calling him all these things, but he's really just a troll, guys.
He's a science denier. How does he say Albert Einstein never says gravity was the force? He said,
as far as he's
we're
concerned,
we're the sun, and he wants us to shine on him. So he tries very hard to get our attention.
but he makes me feel smart now.
"Oh, look at Riley. Do you believe everything Google says, Riley? What the hell? Really?"
Riley.
Google says, Columbus says, Hewler says.
How would you measure
Google? Yeah, I believe in Google.
Mooser.
How would you measure gravity
Like Wes
space
said.
time on Earth. That's what I want. Can't happen. You have to use it as a force to measure it. Sorry.
You know, here's the thing that he just doesn't understand. As a force is mass times acceleration. We know what mass is. All right. My definition of mass is the same as his definition of mass. We know that there is a measurable downward acceleration of 9.81 meters per second squared. That times my mass is a force by definition.
Yeah.
So we're done.
We went through that earlier, bro.
Sleeping Warriors citation is Google.
Yeah. Hey, step up your citation, Riley.
Yeah, well, my citation is, Riley, 8th grade science class. Something you should have tried.
Mine's Richard Feynman. What you got, homie?
8th grade was earth science.
Yeah, I made a mistake with Richard Feynman the other day. I committed the ultimate sin of not recognizing him on sight or by name. And I called him a college professor looking guy. And all of my colleagues in actual science ripped me a new one over that.
I played one of his lectures, or the first part of one of his lectures. I was actually getting ready to. How long did you say, Q?
What was that?
How long did you say until Jose's goes on?
45 minutes. That was for almost 20 minutes ago.
What if I played the rest of that lecture? I mean, I want to watch it.
Oh,
Would that be a good
I'm
idea?
not trying to tell you what to do.
How can you argue with somebody that
that
says
moment where
just
Jose
Google
said he
it?
was 45 minutes and then Sleeping Warrior was in here. So I
know.
just thought,
Well,
I don't care what you do, Shop.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
your
a pussy.
boss and
I
a
mean, if you,
receptionist.
yeah, but you have a good.
I'm just a receptionist, okay? Like what?
No, I put more respect. All hell, Q.
Oh, are you a space? Q, you're a space engineer.
No, she's a guy. She's a guy. Her and Barney are guys.
Dude, I got 2 kittens today. I'm a savior. And they both hissed at me, and I've never had kittens hiss at me before, so it was rattled.
Shoot them.
Hey, again, Riley. Gravity is a
Can't shoot
force.
kittens. Who do you
And
think
guess
I
what?
am?
With barbecue
They still
sauce.
use
You
it,
guys
and I
are
can prove
terrible.
it. Can you?
Don't talk to me.
Okay, guys, I'm tired. I'm gonna just sit here and shit talk Riley the whole time. It's kind of
But
old.
don't barbecue kittens.
Huh?
You don't need
Hey
to
Riley, just Google it. Just Google it.
See, Riley doesn't have the sand to come up against me. He likes to just sit out in the chat. You know, he won't actually come up against me.
If you change into a girl, Bob, he will.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm not going to change into a girl.
You already have Brenda.
That's not.
I like my understanding of barbecue.
What? I'm so confused right now. I just know don't barbecue cats. That's not good.
Bob said that. I don't know what's wrong with him.
I'm a sick and twisted individual at times,
That's probably why
especially
you're a
when it's
doctor.
late.
You know, I have a theory about doctors.
What's your theory about doctors?
Doctors like to
a
hurt
bunch of white boys.
No, specifically neurologists and electrophysiologists like to hurt people. They're the ones with the spur wheels and the electroshocks.
That seems so
bullshit. Y'all got sharp instruments. Don't lie to me.
talking about? You
Yeah,
don't
but
need
I
to be a
generally
doctor.
don't stick them in people.
You don't need to
Every
be a
one of
doctor to
them's
have
got-
that stuff.
Every one of them's got a really long index finger too. I can assure you.
And
Yeah,
I
really
don't think you
thick.
try to
Is that
hurt
okay?
people, but I think that you don't mind hurting people.
No, actually, I kind of really dislike hurting people. As a
The way
matter of
you
fact,
have
I'm
to.
sometimes
Depends on
you
the
kind of
pain.
got to, you know.
No, wait.
Well,
If I
I
think
don't
you
know.
have appendicitis, I'm not going to wail on your belly because I know the surgeon's going to come right after me and wail on your belly, so you don't
Different.
need it twice.
Different subject. Okay. Got it.
Why do they wail on your belly?
With appendicitis, you check something called rebound tenderness,
I
which
know
means
someone.
you press down, and that's fine, and then you let go, and that you have to scrape them off the ceiling.
My ex. You know how
That's
close she
a
was
favorite
until
thing
her-
for the surgeons to do.
You wanna know how
I
close she
try not
was
to
for
do
hers
it.
bursting. She sat at home for a week with the pain of that, and then got to the hospital, and the nurse pressed on the side, and it was so tender that they were frightened that it would burst on spot.
I lost a girl. I lost a 12-year-old who wasn't brought in until her appendix actually burst at home and then came in, and I tried to save her. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I
What
didn't
did he
know how
die from?
dangerous it was until then.
when that happens?
She died of sepsis.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
That
instant
same
too,
thing
right?
happened to Houdini. Yeah, the same thing happened to Houdini, but we had antibiotics, but we need time for them to work.
Yeah.
That was one of those things. We flew her out to Charleston, and they still couldn't get her back. Couldn't get her in. We tried stabilizing her, but we couldn't.
Riley's denying everything now.
Yes, I know.
Riley
He's
doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground.
He's a science denier. That's what he's gonna do.
What about
Deny,
Michael
deny,
Jackson?
deny.
Yeah, Riley doesn't even know what it is he's denying. So
I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm also not interested in talking to Riley unless he's gonna present some evidence for his bullshit. Again,
yeah, Riley, why don't you come on in and try and stand up against me or Blue?
Yeah, can I say?
Be a big boy.
Yeah, go ahead,
Can
Blue.
I say something?
Yeah,
Riley, listen to this now, Riley. I don't think you can tie your own damn shoelaces.
You crayon muncher?
No, none of that, guys. Let just Blue go.
It's a joke. It's a joke. That's all.
I know.
What's his name?
But let Blue go.
A crayon muncher.
This is Blue's time.
It's gonna be about crayon munching.
Well, here's a guy who sits down
That's
and
what
makes
he
a video
sounds like.
saying I ought to be shot and doesn't
You?
have the balls to come up against me right now.
He said
Who said you should be shot?
Riley said on a video
He's
that I
such a
should be
troll.
shot.
That's a stupid thing to say. Ammo is expensive.
Is it?
It's almost 62 cents a round.
Is it Chris
Yeah,
Rock
it works.
expensive?
Hell, I pay $1 around for my 30-06, Bob.
Is
never mind.
it Chris
You
Rock?
don't buy in bulk
expensive
of
yet?
10,000 rounds like I do. That's a good hint for you to
Or
take,
wait, is it
Riley.
Chris Rock? No.
Y'all making me jealous again because I got to move to another state before I can own a firearm.
Oh my goodness. You got your own problems. God bless
For
you.
real. Hey guys, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You guys can continue this thing.
Don't worry. I'll take
Yeah, when Riley
Tell
goes
me
and
who
threatens
made
to
the
shoot
joke
people,
about
it shouldn't
bullets
be
costing
somebody that.
$50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when Riley
Whose joke
threatens
is
to
that?
shoot somebody, you shouldn't be threatening somebody whose house you're going to show up at when the zombies come.
Yeah, but
All
there's
right?
no gravity or
Why
anything,
would
so
somebody
the
go to your
bullets are
house
just
when
going to float
zombies
off into space. They're not going to go anywhere.
Because my house is one of the few that'll be able to defend against them.
Hell
Why?
yeah. I got a bunker, but I'm not telling you. I'll tell
Because
you, child,
America.
in the back
Because
chat.
America. That's not going to
Hell
help
yeah.
you against zombies.
America.
I feel like, first of all, do you guys realize that zombies are not going to be undead things? Okay, that's just not
It's gonna
possible.
be a disease or a virus.
No, because if a zombie was like this undead thing and it didn't digest the food it consumed, eventually it would become engorged and rip itself in half when it tried to move. And I'm done with it.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like.
It has to either not eat or swallow, or it has to be able to process
It's
that.
not gonna be like the
And then
movies.
here
It's
you
gonna
go.
be like
What is the
TV.
worst thing about zombies? You know what the worst thing about zombies is? Zombie
They
shit.
stink. What?
No, just zombie shit, because zombies got to be able to shit if it's going to eat, or that's it.
That's true. I
Or
noticed
it's
that.
going to die.
How do they all get faster?
They get
Haven't they all
slower.
gotten slower. Yeah.
Zombies would not be undead. They would be like
Who has that sound on cue?
Me? That was me.
They have to be like rabies meets flocka or some shit. Like that's the closest we could get to like zombies, like people.
No,
just
it's
run
like
around.
Sean trying to gasp for air after when he's laughing.
Oh, those are good laughs. Those are the laughs that count.
I know, man. They said they want so you don't know if they're gonna they're laughing or they're dying. Those are the good ones.
You should hear that. You should hear the upload I just did on Sean. I'm convinced he's gonna die soon. People are gonna start making bets on watching it live. He's
Like we were laughing, and all of a sudden we had to call 911. What happened?
Q, you have no idea how real that shit I'm being with that. He needs to calm down. I don't give a fuck anymore.
Maybe he needs some exercise.
I don't know what the fuck he needs, but he needs
You know what? He
something.
probably could use like air filtration.
All right, I gotta get the hell out of here. I've smoked myself retarded.
Bye.
All right, I'm gonna play the rest of that or some of that Feynman. If I don't, then I'll play the rest of it tomorrow or next day. But tomorrow I'm gonna do geoengineering, so you can steer clear if you're scared to talk about it, you pussies. But other than that, yeah, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Huh? You guys got anything you want to say?
Said I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Yeah, save the kittens.
Yeah, you go ahead and say it. I ain't backing it.
Jose's gonna be live, guys. That's what I'll say. Go to Jose's. He's gonna be there soon.
Yeah.
Hashtag eat the frogs.
Yeah, if you like I'm gonna play the Feynman thing, and then once Jose goes live, I'll end the stream.
Here lies Sleeping Warrior, relative density, specific gravity.
Oh, you saw you're seeing the watch page.
Yeah.
That's his tombstone.
Tell us where we'd look to find something new planet. And the other observatory was more, the administration was different. And they found the Neptune. More recently, in the beginning of the 20th century, it became apparent that the motion of the planet Mercury was not exactly right. And this caused a lot of trouble and had no explanation until a modification of Newton's. This did show ultimately that Newton's laws were slightly off and that they had to be modified. I will not discuss the modification in detail. It was made by Einstein. Now the question is, how far does this law extend? Does it extend outside the solar system? And so I show on the first slide evidence that the law of gravitation is on a wider scale than just the solar system. Here is a series of 3 pictures of a so-called double star. There's a third star ultimately in the picture, was slightly so you can see that they're really turning around and that nobody just simply turned the frames of the pictures around, which is easy to do on astronomical pictures. But the stars are actually going around. And by watching these things and plotting the orbit, you see the orbit that they make on the next slide. It's evident that they're attracting each other and that they're going around in an ellipse. According to the way expected, these are a succession of pictures going for all these different periods of time. I think, yes, it goes around this way, and they didn't see it well when it was too close, and here it is in 1905. My slide is very old. It's gone around maybe once more since. And you'll be happy except when you notice, if you have noticed already, that the center is not a focus of the ellipse, but it's quite a bit off. So something's the matter with the law. No. God hasn't presented us with this orbit face on. It's tilted at a funny angle. And if you take an ellipse and mark its focus and then hold the paper at an odd angle and look at it in projection, the focus doesn't have to be at the focus of the projected image. So it's because its orbit is tilted in space that it looks that way. It looks like it's not the right pattern. But it's all right, and you can figure everything out satisfactorily for that. How about a bigger distance? There's forces between the stars. Does it go any further than these distances which are not more than 2 or 3 times the solar system's diameter? Here's something in the next slide that's 100,000 times as big as the solar system in diameter. And this is a large number of stars, tremendous number of stars. This white spot is not a solid white spot. It's just because of the failure of our instruments to resolve it. But are very, very tiny dots, just like the other stars, well separated from one another, not hitting each other, each one falling through and back and forth through this great globular cluster. It's one of the most beautiful things in the sky, as good as sea waves and sunsets. And the distribution of this material, it's perfectly clear that the thing that holds this together is the gravitational attraction of the stars for each other. And the distribution of the material in the sense of how the stars peter out as you go out in distance permits one to find out roughly what the law is of force between the stars, and of course it comes out right that it is roughly the inverse square. The accuracy of these calculations and measurements is not anywhere near as careful as in the solar system. Onward, as gravity extends still further. This is a little pinpoint inside of a big galaxy, and the next slide shows a typical galaxy. And it's clear that this thing again is held together somehow, and the only candidate that's reasonable is gravitation. But when we get to this size, we haven't any way any longer to check the inverse square law. But there seems to be no doubt that these great agglomerations of stars and so these galaxies, which are 50 to 100,000 light years across, the solar system is, well, from the Earth to the Sun is only 8 light minutes. This is 100,000 light years that the gravity is extending even over these distances. And in the next slide is evidence that it extends even further. Here is what is called a cluster of galaxies. There's a galaxy here and here and here. There are galaxies here. They're all in one lump of galaxies, analogous to the cluster of stars, but this time what's clustered are those big babies that I showed you in this previous slide. Now this is as far as is about 1/10, or well, 100th maybe, of the size of the universe, and as far as we have any direct evidence that gravitational forces extend. So the Earth's gravitation, if we take the view, has no edge, as you may read in the newspapers when the planet gets outside the field of the gravitation. It keeps on going ever weaker and weaker, inversely as the square of the distance, dividing by 4 each time you're twice as far away, until it mingles with the strong fields and gets lost in the confusion of the strong fields of other stars, but altogether with the stars in its neighborhood pulls the other stars to form the galaxy, and altogether they pull on other galaxies to make a pattern, a cluster of galaxies. So the Earth's gravitational field never ends, but peters out very slowly in a precise and careful law, probably to the edges of the universe. The law of gravitation is different than many of the other, well, is very important in the economy or in the machinery of the universe. There are many places where gravity has its practical applications as far as the universe is concerned. But atypically, among all the other laws of physics, gravitation has relatively few practical applications. I mean, the new knowledge of the law, it has a lot of applications. It keeps people in their seats and so on. But it has the knowledge of the law has few practical applications, relatively speaking, compared to the other laws. This is one case in which I picked an atypical example. It is impossible, by the way, by picking one example of anything, to avoid picking one which is atypical in some sense. That's the wonder of the world. The only applications I could think of were first in some geophysical prospecting, in predicting the tides, nowadays more modernly in working out the motions of the satellites and planet probes and so on that we send up, and also modernly to calculate the predictions of the planet's position, which have great utility for astrologers to publish their predictions and horoscopes in the magazines. That's the strange world we live in, that all the advances in understanding are used only to continue the nonsense which has existed for 2,000 years. Now, that shows that gravitation extends to the great distances, but Newton said that everything attracted everything else. Do I attract you? Excuse me, do I attract you? I was going to say, excuse me, do I attract you physically? I didn't mean that. What I mean is, is it really true that two things attract each other? Can we make a direct test and not just wait for the planets and look at the planets to see if they attract each other? And this experiment, the direct test, was made by Cavendish on equipment which you see indicated on the next slide. If I got my slides right. Well, I made a mistake. I was talking about the importance of the gravitation. I was overwhelmed by my clever remark about astrologers and forgot to mention the important places where gravitation does have some real effect in the behavior of the universe. And one of the interesting ones is the formation of new stars. In this picture, which is a gaseous nebula inside our own galaxy, and there's not a lot of stars, but it's gas, there are places where the gas has been compressed or attracted to itself here. It starts perhaps by some kind of shock waves to get collected, but the remainder of the phenomenon is that gravitation pulls the cloud of gas closer and closer together. So big mobs of gas and dust collect and form balls, which as they fall still further, the heat generated by the falling lights them up and they become stars. And we have in the next slide some evidence of the creation of new stars. It is unfortunately harder to see than I thought it was when I looked at it before. But this is not exactly the same as this. This bump here is further out than here, and that this also has a new dot here. I have found better examples, but we're unable to produce a slide. There is one example of a star patch, a light that grew in a place within 200 days. So that when it was in the same kind of a condition of a gas cloud, when the gas collects too much together by gravitation, stars are born. And this is the beginning of new stars. So the stars belch out dirt and gases when they explode sometimes, and the dirt and gases then collect back again and make new stars. Sounds like perpetual motion. I now turn to the subject I meant to introduce, which was the experiments on the small scale to see whether things really attract each other. And I hope now that the next slide does indicate, this is the second try, Cavendish's experiment. The idea was to hang by a very, very fine quartz fiber a rod with two balls, and then put two large lead balls in the positions indicated here next to it on the side. Then because of the attraction of the balls, there would be a slight twist.